Welcome to Journey Through the Gate, Paranormal Portal Podcast, as we delve into the many questions and wonders brought on by the supernatural experience. What's on the other side of the gate? Let's find out together. That's how excited I am. Get in here, gatekeepers. I'm so excited. You know I'm going to do something. Let that be the only technical glitch we have tonight, because tonight I am doubly excited this Sunday as I was last Monday when we did all the old paranormal TV. So without further ado, we've got so much to talk about tonight. I hope you all liked my disclaimer. I could explain that a little bit better when we get in here. Let's get Donnie in here. Mr. Donny. Show everybody.
Hi. Hey, folks.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Listen,
Hey,
we got
everyone.
Sasha Bell. We got Casey Maraid. Hi, darling. Hi, Cassie. Oracles and Beyond. We've got, I think you make an appearance, Cassie. I think one of your notifications popped up when I was trying to screen record. So if you see, Cassie's got a new show, I think Sunday. Tell us about it in the chat, Cassie, and feel free to throw your links. In fact, anybody, if you've got a YouTube or you've got a show, go ahead and throw up the links. It's fine mods, for tonight. Now, if it's somebody else doing, what were we getting before? Russian porn or some kind of mess we were getting? But
Russian bots.
And what do we do
Yeah.
for Russian bots and people that don't behave, gatekeepers? We bake them some what? Shut the fuck up cakes. Is that a shadow behind you, Donnie? Are we getting actual paranormal?
No, that's my dog messing around by my feet next to the lamp.
There's this big shadow on your wall behind you, getting ready. It's slowly crawling across the wall. Oh, there it's going. It just got really interesting.
This guy's causing all the shadows.
Well, I'll tell you what. We are full. Hi, Toby, you sweetheart, you little furry gatekeeper. So tonight, listen. Hi, Glenn. Hi, Toby. Everybody say hi to Toby. We love our furry gatekeepers here. I know every single one of us has had a furry gatekeeper in our life. Hey, look, Vixen. How you doing? Linda, come on in. Great to be here tonight. Susan always has great things to say. So many people have so many nice things to say in our chat and just conversations that you guys have. We are definitely going to keep doing the resurrected renderings of gatekeepers, but it takes a lot of time to do that, and I've been trying to concentrate on getting some show ideas out that I had, and some of the ones that I've been doing, like the one on Monday where I did a lot of different clips from the old paranormal TV shows, that takes a lot of time to put those videos together. So I can't have a guest where I have to read a book and, or really study and research. We're doing that right now. Donnie, what are we working on that's coming up? You want to tell them about that, our roundtable?
We'll be
Give them a teaser.
We'll be talking more about some of the stuff that went on during World War II, and there's going to be some shocking information. Mm-hmm. Try not to give away so many spoilers.
Right,
but
a little
Nazis
more
will be
extension.
involved.
Yeah, it seemed to be involved in everything. Every time I turn
and
around
then
lately, I'm opening one.
We're going to look at some people who have escaped justice because they were working with the Nazis. And
Right. Like we touched on a little bit in Operation Paperclip, we touched on Von
yeah,
Braun. We teased a little Disney there. We had, some other people that were there. So we've got that coming. That's a real deep dive. Dylan will be involved in that. Laura's now on board with
and
that.
if you
Steve's
hate
jumping in.
Disney, if you hate Disney, this is the show for you.
This will be the show for you. And, so many other ones. And I'm trying to pull up pictures of products that we used to have when we were, some of us were kids that we actually got through Germany, and how it affected things, and how those things were used in ways we didn't know. And, just some different information like that. So that's coming up. Tomorrow night, going to shoot for doing with Steve. We are going to dip into the early paranormal investigators, the early ghost hunters, the ones that actually started calling themselves ghost hunters, and that was Harry Price and Peter Underwood, and we've got a little bit of Borley Rectory, one of the I can't stand it when people say it's the most haunted house in America. It's the most haunted house in Tennessee, the most haunted house. How do you know? So it's called the most haunted house in England. I beg to differ. I'm sure there's a lot
Yeah,
of
is there like
ghosts
a
in England.
paranormal Yelp or something?
I don't know. But it has been called that, and it's been called by very esteemed individuals, such as I've mentioned before with Harry Price, and who am I to argue with Peter Underwood? I mean, he did so many years in the paranormal as the head of the Ghost Club, and he's just so debonair, and you're going to get a kick out of him. I've got a couple of stories he tells, and some information. I've caught some old found film footage, so it's going to be a real treat, and that's tomorrow night. So what are we doing tonight? It's going to be exciting because Donny hasn't seen this since, how old were you when you first saw this when it came on TV, Donny? You were remembering?
Man, I must have been like 10 or 11. I think it was like 11. It's hard to remember.
Well, I remember seeing it. And at the time it came out, I was extremely busy and I wasn't watching a lot of TV, and I only caught a piece of it, but it always intrigued me. I read the book after, and then I started digging around and finding out other information on it too. So what we are going to do, there's a movie out there, and it's called The Haunted, and it's a 1991 made-for-TV movie. Now, I ran this through. I couldn't believe that it didn't have like all these holds on it and copyrights and things like that. And I said, man, this is a treat because it is absolutely you're getting sorry you're getting half chats on me, but my computer locked up and it was sending like partial chats. So basically what I was doing was putting a disclaimer up there to let you know that there will be scenes. These things did happen. I have very little doubt of that. I mean, I wasn't there myself, but this is one of those cases where they had multiple witnesses over multiple years, from police to reporters to neighbors to people visiting the house to multiple churches. I believe they were a member of the Catholic Church, and then they had other churches that jumped in to help. Multiple witnesses to all these things, most of them documented, most famously through Ed and Lorraine Warren. And there are wonderful tapes now released of Lorraine actually interviewing the Smurls, and that is available on a YouTube channel called the official Ed and Lorraine Warren channel, and I believe that's put up by a relative. So there's a lot of interviews there, so if you want to go through there and kind of see what you think and how it was handled, and kind of judge for yourself, or perhaps you read the book, or maybe you saw the movie when it came out or caught it later. Now, you can get this movie for free, commercial free, I believe, on most channels on YouTube. So I would catch it. I would watch it from beginning to end. Now, we've got multiple video clips here. It's not the whole movie, but I pulled them out because they expressed something differently throughout, and it was like one of the best Donny visual aids I could come up with. What do you want to add so far to this?
I remember watching this as a kid, and it just messed me up pretty bad. If this is what I think you're gonna play, and I'm remembering it, yeah, it messed me up real bad. Like for like a year.
Yeah,
it was bad. I'm kind of interested to see how. I'm kind of interested to see it again, just because as
Hmm.
an adult who's much older and wiser
The
and
different
understands this
vantage.
stuff better.
Wow, right? I
Yeah.
just think it's such a treat to do this. And, again, like Steve Stockton says, if you don't tell the story or if you don't pay it, all this different stuff, it's going to get lost. Maybe now with the resurgence of Ed and Lorraine and The Conjuring and all that other stuff, to me, this has more than The Conjuring could even hope for. And it has, you can go back and you can prove things in history, whereas The Conjuring, there's a lot of questions about Bathsheba and all this other stuff is just hyped and played on. But this is more for us, like when you're discerning about things, how things affect. So I called tonight an anatomy of a haunting, and I got the idea about that because basically, if you look at how we're structured, everything has a purpose, everything has a place, and everything is effective in a different way. Well, as a haunting actually happens, a true one, where they're being honest about the stuff that happened and it's not hyped or whatever, it takes sometimes a long time to crescendo to some of the stuff they just jump to on the new television shows. This is really going to show you a depth that we don't normally get to delve into unless you're doing your own investigation or you've had your own haunted house. So I think both people, they're both groups, whether you're one or the other or a combination of both, are going to get something out of this. And it is uncommon. It's similar. I would say there are things in this that are as scary as some of the scary stuff in Exorcist, but it's not done that way. This was 1991, so you figure it was probably
Yeah.
made in 89, and somewhere around in there. They still had censor stuff you couldn't put
hmm
up.
Um,
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, like I would watch horror movies like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the
Uh,
13th, and they didn't scare me so bad because they were, just characters. But then
my oldest did too.
when I saw this, what messed me up was like the thought that, oh, ghosts are real?
This
What?
is real. Yeah. That's it, man. That's it.
That's what messed me up. I didn't know.
That's
I
the
didn't want to
thing.
know that ghosts were real.
Right. Like you can watch Rosemary's Baby and you can talk yourself out and say, okay, people aren't like that when we know here most assuredly are. And, you could watch something like Freddy and go, okay, well, guy can't really come out of your dreams and do that kind of thing. Or Kenny, we don't really know. There's that doubt. But when you see a real family that's just like you and I going through a real thing and the breakdown of the human character or the buildup of the human character. That's something that's always interested me. You always see that in the old disaster films of like the 70s and some that we see now where there's that group and there's somebody represented in this little group that's trying to survive, and you've got what I call your draggers that are just complaining all the time, not doing anything to help and just dragging everybody down. And then you've got like the people that are the reluctant hero that reacts in a situation that in a very heroic way, like say a Bill Bean at
Yeah.
11, facing those demons when we had all of the adults in the room, and he was the one that was casting out these demons out of his house to save his mother. This is one of those kind of stories where you're really going to get the feeling about it. And as we go through, I'm going to do my best, and Donnie is going to add his vantage point and insight in here too, and you guys can in the chat about how it affects us and what it starts breaking down first. So the very first video I have basically is going to introduce you to the situation. Understand that I put this in here because, again, this is just middle America, lower middle class. They're struggling, they're working. Their day to day just to keep bills going. It's a Catholic family. I think they started out moved into the home, I think, with 3 girls, and then she wound up having another set of twins, both girls, while they were there. So there was an awful lot of female energy in the house. It needs to be taken into consideration with the poltergeist activity and the fleeing around of things, the stress, the emotion, the feelings, and everything you're going through, the anger, the fear. I'm sure all that had to do, actually plays a role in this. But this was a little house. It was built in the late 1800s. When the Smurls moved in, and it was a split duplex basically. So his parents moved in next door. His mom had a heart condition, and it was great to keep everybody right close to them, and it worked out great. They had a larger house, but they were affected by a flood. In a town in Pennsylvania, and because it affected so many, they had to rush out and just find a place. Any place right now will do. And they found this little duplex. They thought it was their saving grace, and unfortunately, like so many stories we know, turned out to be their nightmare. So their dream home turned into a nightmare. And it was on Chase Street in West Pinston, PA. Now, in the beginning, which is what I call this video, you can kind of see where it starts first affecting that anatomy of a haunting in the mind and psychological. And what do I mean by that? It's basically, like I said before, the human character. How do they react to these things that first start? And we all know it starts slow, like a slow boil. And everything starts out a little here, a little there. Did you do that? Did you move that? Which also goes to the psychological breakdown of accusations. And I wish she'd stop using my lipstick. And, you know, the entities, the ghosts, whatever is in this house is playing on that and emphasizing those quarrels and things like that. And that's usually what happens in the beginning. Anything you want to say before I roll this beautiful bean footage?
No. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Okay, well, here we go. And this one again is the beginning. And like I said, to pick up on the subtle things and again, the slow boil of the beginning. But I also want you to, if you would, pay attention to how they look in the beginning. I think these actors are highly underrated. You know, at first, like I said, it was their dream. They were so excited to be there. And then all of a sudden, here it comes. So without further ado, I believe this is the correct one. Here we go. Enjoy. Hope you brought your popcorn, guys. It's popcorn and bacon night.
Well, we'll need paint.
So, are you guys moving in here?
I'm not a guy. And yes, we are.
Hello there, neighbor. Oh, hello. I'm Cora Miller from next door.
Oh, I'm Janet.
Welcome.
Thank you. This is my husband, Jack.
Oh, Cora Miller.
And his mom, Mary.
Hi.
His father, John. This is Cora.
Oh, welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
And these are my kids. Katie, get down from there. The big one's Katie and the little one's Colleen.
Oh, they're adorable. So, are you going to fix the place up?
Oh, I don't think I could stay here if I didn't.
I hear you. We just rent. But I always have to fix things up.
Oh, we got to do something. I intend to stay here a long, long time. Hello there.
This is Janet. Janet, this is Dory Hayden.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I brought some brownies. I made them from the box. Consider yourself very lucky. I did not make them from scratch. What church do you go to?
We're Catholic.
Oh, great. Let me formally invite you to the church supper the first Tuesday of the month. What does your husband do?
Oh, he's the foreman down at the gum factory.
Dory.
Oh, well, I thought he might want to join the Lions Club. Bud can get him in.
Oh, I'm sure we'd both like that. He was a lion back in Wilkes-Barre, and I was a lioness.
Oh, I've got to go. Let's let them move in.
Can't wait to tell Bud about you. See you next Sunday.
If you need any help, just give me a yell.
Thank you, Cora. Bye.
You see, we're making friends already.
Daddy. Look, I've been helping Grandpa paint.
Well, you sure have, huh? That's my girl.
I'll come help you later.
Okay. I could use it. Janet, are you in there?
Yeah.
Did you take the hammer?
I thought you had it.
Well, I did, but then I put it down. Now I can't find it. I just can't imagine where it went.
Well, did you ask your dad?
No.
Oh, no.
Dad?
Huh?
Did you take the hammer?
Nope.
You sure?
I am. Unless I've gone senile and don't know it.
It's always a possibility.
Well, there you go. What do you say, Donnie?
That's how it usually starts, right? It always starts small with like a little misplaced item,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then it escalates and escalates, and then next thing you know.
Mm-hmm. And hey, Sean, Chasing the Truth coming in here. If you haven't subbed to Sean, he does a great show over there. And Carol does too. Like I said, guys, you're welcome to put your links in here. Laura Elizabeth is in here. Midnight in the Mountains. We have so many wonderful people in here. Hey, Fast, Hemi, Machinist, how you doing, hon? We got to schedule our show. I've been so caught up in doing this. I got to get all this stuff out of my system, and then we'll go at it. But yeah, that's how it goes. Now, through their conversations and interviews, hey, Lady Nopenham, welcome in. She does such a great job over there. Go ahead and drop your link, darling. Go hear these stories, all this wonderful talent in this chat. I'm so honored that you guys would choose to be here with us tonight, right, Donnie?
Oh yeah, yeah, it is an honor.
It is. It's wonderful. It's so much damn fun too. So here we go. Here we go. It started. You see how happy they are. The neighbors are coming over. You know, it's a typical neighborhood. Fantastic. I wish it was still like that. I think we've moved away from that a little bit, but this was all in the 70s, as you can notice. So we were still bringing brownies back and forth and stuff. You know, I hope we get back to that kind of thing, but you know, welcome to the church. Come on, you know, the first Tuesday of the month. They're already jumping. It's right there in Pennsylvania, Laura, in a place called West Pinston. And
You know
it's
what
on
part of PA
Chase Street.
that's in?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure, you know, maybe Laura does. Maybe somebody will drop it in the chat. But that was the deal. So throughout interviews and stuff I've listened to, this happened multiple times. The hammer was one thing, but it was everything. It was the little stuff. It was the stuff you needed to get out of the house when you were just trying to, P-I-N, like a pin, like a stick you with a pin, stun, S-T-O-N, pin stun. So, you know, there were so many things, like, you know, he discusses multiple things that were happening on both sides of the duplex. Now that's the thing, because they just thought in the beginning it was only happening on their side. And again, nobody is saying much about this. It's the wife, it's the mom who starts to notice all these things, and she's the one that is saying this is happening and everybody's blowing it away. And I think that's where your devastation comes in, Donnie, with the subtle things that really could break a family. You know, like I said, the accusations and things. What do you think about all that? I mean, fights starting. You got 4 girls, preteen. You're already having all kinds of fights and nonsense, you know. Stay-at-home mom. Grandma and grandpa, I believe, stayed home. I'm not sure what the grandpa did. I did see a little bit of interview from them, and they were describing how they were hearing more of the fighting and noises from next door, that nobody was home. So, you know, everybody's just starting to think they're going crazy, and that's where we're at. That's the beginning.
I think the missing stuff and things being misplaced, I think that's probably an attempt to make people mistrust their own senses.
Absolutely.
And that leads to confusion, and then leads to a lot of other stuff.
Psychological warfare kind of thing going on. Thanks, Lady and Sasha Bell, for dropping Lady Nopenhams, and thank you guys so much. Marie saying the entity in my old house played games like that, hiding food behind TV, close strange little things. Yep. And I mean, it's just something they do. Now, as we go through, I'll tell you a little bit that I've learned about this case, but again, I remember hearing about it while it was happening. It was being overshadowed a lot by the Amityville one. So it really took a much longer time for this to come out and really come to the surface. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the next one is called The Breakdown. Now this one is about 9 minutes long. So if anybody's got to go grab a drink, or you got to repop some popcorn or add some butter or salt to it, it's a good time for that. But this one's going to play for 9 minutes, and this one is called The Breakdown. And what do I mean by that? Well, this is the whole thing. It's the subtle stuff, and then it comes into the breakdown, where you've got the breakdown of the unit, the family unit, the husband and wife that were normally very happy together, very involved with their children. Every child, daughter of this couple said they were fantastic parents. There was very little fighting amongst them. In fact, they fought so little that during an interview, the dad could look back and go, "We know that it wasn't us fighting because we hadn't had a fight for 8 months." So it was that kind of family. Very tight. So this is a breaking down of the unit and how they do it. Your trust, your belief, the belief in what you're seeing, the belief in your own sanity, like you just said, Donnie. Mm-hmm. And then you've got the shunning, the anger, and the confusion. Now think about that. The shunning, what do I mean by that? We hear that all the time in different villages, like, the Amish or different religious groups or spiritual groups, or, towns, for Pete's sakes, that are small and they shun somebody, or like the Scarlet Letter, right? But if someone in your own family, okay, is kind of shunning you because they don't know how to deal with it, and they're closing off, or every time you go to mention it or do something, they're looking at you like you're crazy. So it's really rough. It's a very effective weapon that they use, and it is very devastating, and it makes you question your own sanity. So this one's going to run for a little over 9 minutes, and it is called The Breakdown. Here we go.
I'm worried about you. You're doing too much with all the carpools and the church flowers and the club meetings. You are running yourself ragged.
I am
now
fine.
You're going to have to
There
cut
is
something
nothing
out.
wrong with me.
Okay, I'm just saying that you should find some time to have a little bit of fun too, huh? You should. Now come on, let's get inside. Come on. I'm tired too, What? What do you want?
Were you touching me just then?
No. Go back to sleep, hon.
Oh, no.
Oh, you got the good cop.
Oh, my newsletter for the Lionesses was due at the printer yesterday, not today.
You're screwed up. Is this all the cereal we've got?
Isn't that enough for
Okay,
you?
I've done that.
I can't find a clean shirt.
Pass me the vitamins.
Oh, my God. I forgot about the laundry.
What should I put on?
It's in the dryer. I'm sorry, Jack. I'll go get you.
Oh, take it easy. Take it easy. I'll do it. What's going on with you?
I'll get it. I'll get it.
Hello? Oh, hi, Joe. She's right here.
Mom, you okay?
Everything's fine.
Hello.
Hi.
Shut up.
That'll do, Colleen. Is Sean dressed?
I don't know, probably.
Are there any bananas left?
Sean!
Yuck, this is non-fat milk just because Colleen's on a diet.
Oh, shut up.
See you later.
Wait a second, what about breakfast?
No time.
Tape, I need tape.
It's right on the counter.
No, it's not. I need to fix my homework. I'll get an F.
Take it easy, Sean. I swear I put it right on the counter. It was there a couple of minutes ago. I just saw it. I swear it was right on the counter. Oh. Well, that's Annie. Ask your teacher for tape.
Mom.
Wait a sec. I'll leave this on the way to school. Have a good day.
No, I don't know.
Bye, honey.
Bye, Mom.
Probably, I got a good too.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Mom. 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 You know, I think you ought to get out of the house today. You're starting to look tense.
Maybe I will.
Bye.
Will you look at this headline? Mom grinds up family dog to feed her children.
Better than Mom grinds up kids to feed family dog.
Look at this one. Alien makes hundreds of women pregnant.
Oh.
Things people believe. Janet, it's you.
You know, sometimes I think Herb looks like an alien.
It's fitting. What's with you today? Cora, do I look crazy to you?
You. You're the sanest person I've ever known.
My husband doesn't think so.
Oh, that's nonsense. Jack would never think that.
What makes you think you're crazier than anyone else?
I'm having these nightmares, but they're really day mares. I see things, I hear things, I feel things that nobody else does. Has that ever happened to you?
No, I can't say that it has. But if it really worries you, maybe you should see a psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist? I'd rather be tortured by aliens.
I got a strike.
Don't everybody cheer at once.
Yay! That's very good, Annie.
Dr. Smith! Help! I'm afraid without you. Don't leave me alone.
Over here. It's me, Dr. Smith.
Watch this.
There is still danger.
Hey, Joe. Do you guys French kiss?
Mom, Colleen's bugging us.
What are you laughing about? You don't even know what French kissing is.
I do too.
What is it then?
I don't have to tell you if I don't want to. I know. It's kissing with your mouth open. That's disgusting.
That's enough.
Why, thanks, Mrs. Smurl. You know, it's been 2 weeks since that last button fell off. I've been cold for 2 weeks.
Now, you two will be home before midnight.
Yes, ma'am. Don't worry, I'm a great driver.
Mom, we're gonna be late for the party.
Well, have fun, you two.
Au revoir. That's French.
Right.
Shut up, Colleen.
Did Katie come back early?
No, why?
Sounds like someone's taking a bath up there.
I don't hear anything.
Me neither. Ouch, not so tight.
Sorry.
You didn't hear that?
What, Mommy?
It's okay, I'm just gonna go take a look. I'll be right back.
Wait, Mom. Maybe you should wait till Dad gets home.
Just finish Sean's hair. There's nothing to worry about.
That's a long walk right there, man.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women. Blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and the hour of our death. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women. Blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother.
Holy Mary, Mother of God. There you have the breakdown. What do you think, Donnie?
Yeah, that whenever I see a haunting story like that and they kind of get down and do their Hail Marys, that I don't know if that ever works. Maybe it works in some situations.
And perhaps for them, I think what she's trying to do is pull on her faith for strength, you know, just like anybody, and trying to ground herself
You
in
could
a
tell
lot
she
of
was.
ways. I'm sorry, go ahead. But I was going to say prayer is a lot like any kind of meditation or mantra. You know, I mean, I've seen people doing so many different things at this point, but you're going to go to your core, you know, and the whole thing of her hitting her knees and just out of desperation. She's looking, her kids, her older daughters, and, you know, even the younger ones, nobody heard it. You know, but her. Nobody, she knows she put the tape. Look at how she went from this all well put together mom of four, which is hard to do in the first place. But if you've got a balance and you've got love in a unit, you can, you know, pull it off a little easier sometimes. But it's still very hard work. There's some organization there. There's some, you know, understanding, especially the way all her kids are getting together, and they still do to this day, the way they get along. So there's a lot there to say about the family unit, and she's double checking. She's starting, it's her belief, and you know, that's what you have to fall on. And if you don't believe it, like I've said on here a bunch of times, you might as well just throw a slipper at it. So you wouldn't make somebody who is you know, a Buddhist do a Catholic prayer, and you wouldn't make, you know, a Protestant do a, you know, a Jewish prayer. But in most cases, most people have that respect for everybody's. So, you know, in these cases, in supernatural, especially people working on a house or a situation or a case, will always incorporate all of that into it, because again, we don't know what we're fighting yet. So what is it afraid of? It doesn't matter what, you know, what you're afraid of. It's what it's afraid of, what you have to work with right now. She's trying to figure this in her head. How is this happening?
You could definitely see her being slowly, piece by piece, being broken down.
Yes.
I remember thinking that when she was looking for that piece of tape, she had like a real crazy look in her eyes.
Yeah,
remember
that's what
when
I
she's
meant.
Like going through the drawer and it was
like
her
manic.
initial look? Yeah.
Like manic, like very, I know it was here, and she's trying to get everything done, and she's starting to forget little things like, you know, the shirts, or she might have did the shirts, and you know, she was having a lot of problems going up and down the stairs. It was one of those basement laundry rooms, so a lot of stuff happened going up and down there too. She's trying to remember, did I do it? Am I going crazy? So this is part of the breakdown, you know. Let's see.
I think the reason why it works so well is because a lot of times to break someone down, sometimes it takes just a lot of little things instead of one big traumatic event. It's a lot of little things that add up, and just at the wrong
And I
time, at the
think
wrong moment.
also, Donnie, I think depending on what it is, it's feeding. We know it's feeding. So even if it's a human ghost that learns that it gets electricity, it gets, that energy and stuff from people in fear, it starts to learn that. It's like, hey, I feel better when I do this, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to, bang the closet door. There was an awful lot of that's not in this. There was constant, doors banging or, just all these different things, especially the stuff missing, things apporting. There was one story even where they had some people coming through the house, to show them what was going on and, trying to get help. I can't remember if it was the church or if it was Lorraine, the Warren crew. I can't remember. But they were going up these thin stairways. Now, you've got this 1800 house built in the 1800s. You know how the stairs are real narrow and usually steep, made of that real wood that creaks when you walk on it. So creepy, But they were all on the stairs, and they're getting kind of like a tour from the person that's standing on the top landing. But there's still so many people that they're on the stairs still. So what happened was they had a German Shepherd dog. I forget his name. But the dog was upstairs. They knew it was upstairs. And they started coming back down the stairs, and the dog was at the bottom of the stairs in the living room. There was no way that dog could have gotten past them on those stairs. This thing is apporting dogs the size of German Shepherds. This is incredible. This was a case that was just, what is going... It was a little bit of everything in here. And I don't know if it got so much off the energy of the kids or the mom or the stuff they were doing to try to fight it, because there was always this doubt when they got somebody to help them. Until a certain time, they stopped depending on other people and really kind of leaned on the family unit again. But it takes a while to get here, and this is also the progression of that. And the next one is, this is the building darkness now. It's starting to break down one person at the very least in the house. There was a lot of things going on with the daughters that they didn't really tell everybody because they didn't want to make it worse. So now we're at the point where it's starting to feed. I have heard multiple accounts of this from witnesses that, mediums and, even Lorraine herself, I believe, said it. I think it's in one of the clips here, that she believed that there was multiple ghosts in the household. I believe she said 4 human. Each one had a different reason for being there. And then there was one who was a different type of entity that was actually so strong and so negative that it used the human ghosts to do its bidding, so to help them make the other people in the house crazy. When you've got mimicking sound, throwing sound, and apporting items, I can tell you right from the get-go, that's something different. Okay, so the
I often say, this is some next level shit.
Next level shit, baby.
Yeah.
So, and there's a multitude of things. Again, why we always drive home the point, Donnie, when we're talking about paranormal investigation. You need a little bit of everything. You need the tech, you need the science, you need the, inquisitive minds, you need the kindness, you need the soul, you need the sensitivity and the gifts too. All of it, because there's so many different things that could be going on here. You could have a well-meaning couple of people that are just interested in trying to get evidence and trying their best to help with good intent. But you go in there and they'll say, okay, well, it's the old lady ghost that's in here and she died for whatever reason. There was supposedly a murder on the property. I don't know if it was in the house or not, but it was the oldest house on the block. So, again, so many different things to put in here that it could be. So now you got the building darkness. You've got it where it starts to engulf and seep into all the cracks. It starts to affect others too. Now it's gaining energy and it's getting a little bit more, look what I can do. This is also, it's called where it starts getting dominant and it wants to show its dominance. And it's trying to push that on whoever it's going after to show, don't think about doing that because this is what I can do. And really starts ramping up. So are you ready for the next clip, Donnie?
Go for it.
Building Darkness. Here we go.
I'm ready.
And again, we've got a little bit in each clip to show how her neighbors, her becoming friends, how she's trying to talk to them and not, finding a little support. But they don't know either, and they don't quite know how to help. But they don't really treat her, and she never said that her friends treated her badly. But, other stuff is coming. So here we go. The darkness, Building Darkness. Here we go.
You almost forgot. Oops, these are mine. Oh, thanks. I got a baptism Sunday, so I want the flowers to look especially nice. How you doing? Oh, not so good, Cora. Can I talk to you a minute? Sure. Before I moved in my house, did you ever notice anything weird going on over there? No. You think there's something weird going on there? Sometimes. I know this sounds ridiculous, but do you believe in ghosts? I believe in good spirits and in bad spirits. Why? You think you got ghosts in your house? I just noticed something bad there. I can't see it, but I can feel it. Sounds nuts, doesn't it? No. You're not the only person who believes in ghosts. There was this couple on TV. They take pictures of them. They lecture all over the world. Maybe I have last week's TV guide. Do you want me to see? I could give you their names. Let me think about it. Thanks. I'll say a prayer for you, Janet.
When was the last time you saw a TV guide?
It's been a hot minute.
You feel that the relationship is kind of at a plateau stage.
Yes, I just feel like we're in kind of a rut, It's the same thing.
Now let me ask you, have you expressed to your husband this mild dissatisfaction?
I know you're mad at me, but I need you.
Janet, I'm so glad that you came.
What?
There was a thing in here. I swear it. I couldn't see its face. I don't know how to say this. It was so awful. It went right past me and it disappeared into the wall. Am I going crazy?
I thought I was going crazy.
You saw it too?
Uh-huh. It was standing in my kitchen. It went into the dining room, and then it disappeared.
Were you telling the truth the other day?
Oh, Mom, I swear to you, Jack wasn't home.
Oh, Janet, I'm so afraid.
Tell them, Mom.
I was saying my novenas, and it came through the room right past me and went into the wall.
They don't believe us, I told you.
It's not that we don't believe you, it's just...
We're just trying to figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you've been watching too many of those horror movies.
It was real. You guys weren't there, we saw it.
Yeah.
Okay, thoughts?
Yeah. I actually noticed something because that was my second time seeing that clip, but I noticed something. So before she sees the entity, she's got the radio playing, right? It's like a talk show. She sees the entity, and then while the entity is there, you hear that sound, right? It kind of messes with the sound.
Yes.
And then as soon as it leaves, the radio, the sound goes back to normal, and the radio comes back on. And did you hear what the first thing it said was?
No.
it said the lady on the radio said, "Did you see that?"
Yeah,
And they
I
keep
thought I
going,
heard
yeah.
something I didn't want to say, and I wasn't sure. The way to pick up, that was great. But that's just amazing how it starts. Now, the thing you guys don't realize is the mom, that's the mother-in-law to this lady. And again, very true. This movie really packs a lot. I mean, 10 years or so in a short amount of time. So what happened was the mom was home, the mother-in-law was home with her sister. They were in the kitchen, and against the wall you could pretty much hear if things were loud or whatever. You could hear muffled through the wall. Well, this was such a loud fight, she thought in the voices of her son, who was at work, and she pretty much thought he was at work, and her daughter-in-law, and they were cussing and using what they kept saying, like foul language and disgusting things that they were saying to each other, and it was just extremely foul, so much so that the mother-in-law wouldn't talk to her own son for 2 weeks. Now, I don't know what was said, nobody ever said, but she was so upset that it actually broke it again. See, it found something that the mother-in-law would be so upset about. These were people that actually really kind of walked the Christian road. They really were devout Catholics. They were saying their novenas. They were doing all the things that, all the rituals and everything else. But I often wonder, oh, there's somebody bake Adolf some cupcakes, will ya? Get those
Hey,
blue
Adolf.
wrenches out,
We
guys.
were just talking about you a few weeks
Yeah.
ago.
You son of a gun. Look at you. You're going to have some cupcakes, and they're going to be delicious. And goodbye. So, or you could be part of our round table. We've got some surprises to bring out in a couple weeks. But there's that. So, you know, it was enough to almost, I thought, throw the mother-in-law's faith in her face, because she's saying the novenas as it goes through the wall. Mm-hmm. So it again seems that anytime they start bringing out religious things, or if they're singing a religious song to calm the girls down because they're going to Sunday school, there's a clip here where she's going for her first I believe it's her first communion or something. I don't know all of the rituals, but it's a big deal. And she was very nervous, and they start singing, and that's another time something happened. So it was almost always warning them to stop doing that. I took it that way. What do you think, Donnie? Possible?
Yeah, I think you know, sometimes I've heard some accounts where they say once they start like doing like playing religious music or doing like hymnals in the house, sometimes it'll actually like agitate them, and yeah.
It's
You're like, oh yeah, that's how
it is
you're
that
gonna
catch-22. If you don't do it, it's going to overrun you, and if you don't do it enough, it's almost, people feel guilty. It's like, I didn't do it right, I didn't pray right, I didn't do it enough. And I think we need to move away from that, and not the prayer, but the fact that we're not doing it right, because you don't know what you're fighting. You don't know how often. It's like saying, you know, just because I burnt sage, the sage wasn't enough to do the whole job. It doesn't mean the sage didn't work. It just meant that it wasn't enough in the right amount for the right amount of time with the right intent, possibly, or there's something else in there that's really ramping it up. Again, we have to remember that some of these, you know, entities are so strong, been around, ancient, some of them, and it's almost impossible to back them off completely. You have to back them off, get out at the right time, and you know, there's a binding and stuff, you know, you kind of got to do. It has to be done correctly. It has to be finished. Where the rule book is on this, I don't know. But welcome in, Blue, and thanks again for popping in, Dylan and Susan, for dropping all the links for everybody. That's so kind of you. I appreciate that. And wow, yep. Let's see. And James says, wow, never saw that before. Third Reich taking over the channels. Up with that, honey. They seem to be everywhere, aren't they, Donnie? Every time we roll
it was
a
like
rock
Errol
over.
Flynn sends his regards.
Yeah, there we go. So, oh gosh. It's, like I said, just bake them some cupcakes and we shall move on. All right, we are on number 4, I believe. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry, guys. These things don't have numbers, and I'm taking a shot, so I'm doing the best I can here. This one, again, is I Believe You. Now, this is the part of the haunting, the anatomy of the haunting, I believe, is the heart. The actual, there you go. The heart, where it's going after the heart, it's going after the love. How many stories have we heard that said your family is your only way out of this? Your love for each other is the only way out of this. That light, that love, that energy can beat all of this. You just have to trust each other and stand together. I don't know if you guys ever saw a movie, an old movie called The Straight Story. And it was a story where the guy hadn't seen his brother in so long, and he was so broke, but he rode a lawnmower across country to see his brother, and he met people along the way, and it's a great movie. But he met this young runaway, and I'll never forget it. He told the story about the sticks, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard the story about the sticks, and I don't have any sticks tonight. I was going to get you some, but I just didn't have time. But you can just imagine this pen as a stick. If I had a stick and I could just grab it like this and broke it, it would break so easily. But once you are part of a unit and you have something like a family and friends and a tribe and people that stand with you, it's much harder for anything to break it. And that's a straight story from the straight story of the truth about hauntings and things that we're going through in our everyday lives. When you stand together and you have a unit and everybody is understanding and they're not shunning each other, not accusing each other, they're all standing together, that's usually what beats this, along with some other stuff. So we're going to see that along the way too. This one is I Believe You. And when that first instance of her mother-in-law believing her meant the world to both of them, then they try to explain it to their husbands, and they're a little harder, but we'll see how that goes. So I Believe You. Next clip.
I didn't know where to turn, but I needed answers, so I read everything I could about the supernatural. I began to learn that other people had experienced similar problems, and somehow that made me feel a little better.
This whole neighborhood was built over old mine shafts. During the 1930s, some of the houses on this block actually caved in. And according to this book here, one of the cave-ins unearthed a set of pig bones, which had been arranged in a hexagram, which is the sign of the devil. It indicates satanic worship.
Janet.
And according to this book here, a spirit is generally invited into a house by two means: willful, like you hold a seance or play with a Ouija board or something, or by the occurrence of a terrible crime on the property.
Janet.
And spirits can appear at will. And they can appear to one person and not to the other, making that one person think that he or she is loony when she is not.
You know, you are going to scare the kids with all this stuff.
I haven't said a word to them, and I don't intend to. Jack, we gotta do something. We gotta get help. Jack.
I don't want Bruce to see this. I don't want Bruce to see this.
Jack,
What?
did you hear that?
Hear what?
Voices.
Will you just cut this out? You're talking yourself into it.
Here, just put your head on my pillow, please, right now. Come on.
I don't hear anything.
Keep listening. You heard it?
What is that? I thought I heard something. Okay, you sleep over on my side tonight. What?
It's touching me.
What is?
I don't know. It's touching my leg.
Where?
Here.
Holy cow.
Feel it?
Yeah, I do.
Jack, make it go away. Make it stop.
Stop it! You just stop it right now! You feel anything?
Now do you believe me?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Damn.
Well, that took a lot. Yeah, I believe you.
Can you,
That's usually how it is.
Can we review something real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
So she said she was looking into the background of the house, and what did she find exactly?
What was she saying? Something
They
about...
found like pig bones.
Yes, she was saying that they found pig bones arranged in a pentagram, and she was explaining that that's usually used for satanic ritual abuse. He kept going, Janet, like they didn't even talk about this kind of
they
stuff.
found the pig bones in the house?
They found them on the land.
Oh.
And she was saying that, there was two ways to get a haunting. She's more talking about the demonic, to be invited or to have something else, and it's just left open so they can roam. That's basically what she's understanding. I love all the comments in here about the Dewey Decimal System, and that's why we had to research stuff, because this brought so much home to me, because this is what I did as a kid. And I mean young. You hear me saying I was looking, into the paranormal early. You've all heard my stories about finding Hans Holzer, but early stuff, going into the library, going to the school library, trying to dig and find information. And it was just so profound how long she did study it. They made it very short here. But she did take a very long time to go out and really study. She had nobody to talk to about this but her mother. And her mother had a bad heart, her mother-in-law. Very bad heart, and couldn't even say things like satanic ritual and demon to in the same room with her mother-in-law. It was so hard. You have to understand the time and the type of people they were. It was a different, so different. I mean, just a couple of decades.
Yeah. I was watching that and I was thinking, man, what was our lives like before YouTube?
Yeah.
Because if that happened today, she'd be right here in this chat.
Yep. While this was going on, I was actually on my bicycle discovering Hans Holzer and digging into hauntings like this. Around the time that Amityville came out in 76, 78, I was well versed in, multiple. Nothing in that book surprised me, scared the shit out of me. But it didn't surprise me. I think at that point in time in my life at 12, the only thing that got me was in the Amityville, which really didn't even happen. It's happened to other priests, but they took that story and put it in Amityville, I believe, allegedly. So, but when the priest got so sick for so long, when his car almost ran off the road, when his hands burnt with blisters in the story, not this story, this was the Amityville book, that surprised me. Because I think that's the night that I never slept with the book in my room again. I put it outside my door and closed my bedroom door, and it sat in the hallway outside my door, as if that could do any difference. But again, I still was a 10, 11-year-old girl. You know what I'm saying? So the book had to sleep in the hallway, and I shut the door, but I kept reading it. But again, surprised, that was the thing with the priest. Now I have friends who tell me multiple stories of going on these cases and having the very same thing happen to them.
I remember when I was a little kid going to the public library and finding a book on ghosts for the very first time. I was probably like 10, or I was probably around the same time I saw this. I probably saw this and went to the library and found that book.
Mm.
And in the book, they had like pictures. And you remember those famous pictures of like that one with the all the sailors?
Mm-hmm.
And they're in that group picture. And then you see that one guy's face.
Yes.
And then the other one of the ghost, like the lady walking down the stairs, like the iconic ghost pictures.
Yeah,
and I saw
the
those
brown
for
lady.
the first time
Mm-hmm.
as an 11-year-old kid. And my world was shook. I was like,
What an
holy
adventure,
crap,
though.
ghosts are real.
Yeah. Oh, see, now Glenn's saying the same thing. He hates it when he finds pig bones in a pentagram. It's never, I can't imagine a situation where that would be a good thing. It's too bad we got to go. That fast. And Gray, beautiful Gray here, saying the people that ask us to do an investigation are so relieved to finally have an outlet to talk about it. Absolutely. That's the thing. Just being able to talk about it meant so much for her to just be able to say that to her mother-in-law. I know you're not talking to me for something she never did, but I need you right now, and I need you to understand. And she says, I need you to understand. And this went on in my household. This exact thing, nobody talked about it until you just couldn't take it anymore, and you bumped into a sister that was willing, something had just happened, it happened to you together or something, and you were able to talk about it a little bit. But very hard. This whole thing could take years easily, because it's just so, I tripped. I put it in the refrigerator. I must have moved the hammer. So many things that it does to us. It's just not friggin' fair that it's able to do all these things. And shows like this, and not so much my show, but shows like this and people like you guys in chat giving out this information, maybe, just maybe, we prevent one, or heads up, this is happening, or stuff like that. I mean, for anybody in here that does investigation, has done it for any amount of time, can say, I might have found 9 people that it was, a medical issue, a mental issue, anything, abuse issue, whatever. And then that one you help, though, makes it all worth it. And I think that goes for anything that we, what we've chosen to do to help people out, or, just learn about something. So there's that. And that was I Believe You. And that's the heart in this part of the anatomy of the haunting, because, it's going to go after the love. It's going to go after the family unit. It's going to go after you, your love. What do you love? Your faith, your day-to-day, your family, your pets, your home. So, I forgot to tell you too, in the beginning there, that first video where she was painting, everybody was painting and the stains kept coming back. They said they put 4 coats of, like kilts and paint and everything. It just kept coming back to the point they gave up, put up paneling, which was huge in the 70s. Just another scary thing that I am bringing you here tonight on the Sis Joe show with Donny. That's probably one of the scariest things. We all had paneling. That and shag carpeting in the bathroom. If that's not, a supernatural,
I know people still have that.
Truly?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, wow. All right, so here we are. So strengthen the unit, love, team, helps with the confusion, because you have that person to talk to. Now, it took a lot for the husband to come around. He admitted it. He said there was a lot of things that he just choked up to being tired and being a working dad that actually went to work, paid the bills, and the family worked as a unit. And so many things with your kids involved in anything. Who has the time to sit down and, sort it all?
And you also have to consider, this is 1975, before the internet. You didn't have like a place where you could just go on Google and look up paranormal support groups or investigation teams. There weren't people like at work talking about it. So when you were going through something like this at that time, at that level, you're probably thinking like, I have no one to talk to. It must have been very isolating. It's not like nowadays where you could just go on YouTube and be like, oh, there are other families who are going through the exact same thing that I am.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a trip, yes, and it's so comforting. And then you go and you look for another one because, you know, sometimes just one could be a fluke. So you go for another and another. These things take time. And you often ask, I remember the older girl, I believe it was the blonde girl that was teasing about the French kissing. Her name is Karen, and we have a little clip of her later on. But she was stated, wonderful interview, very honest. You can listen to that and get your own views on her firsthand account of working with the Warrens. I'll let her tell the story. Again, I'm back and forth like this on the, you know, it's so hard to judge other people through other people's accounts. There's so much information here and there. You know, you got to figure involved in this. So many things can go wrong, but one person on your team taking a check or saying the wrong thing, like, you know, you should write a book and make some money on this, and it's overheard, then you're a scoundrel. It's my understanding they didn't charge to help families. They made money on seminars. But again, I've heard good and bad. You guys got to be the judge of that on your own. But the interviews are out there, and there's a lot more out there now than was like 10 years ago. So, you know, look into that and see, because
and you can't blame them for taking money from seminars. I mean, that's like talking to people who want to like listen to them, and then they have to travel out there and everything.
No, absolutely not. And most of the people I know that do studies are that. They're so giving, and they'll drive, you know, spend their gas and not charge for things. I know so many, but then I know people that have to charge for their time because this is their, you know, so again, you can't judge really by that.
I ain't about to judge someone for that. Right. Oh, those Warrens, they went to seminars. How dare they?
The thing that would get me is if they were lying about it. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, with the Amityville, but then again, the whole Amityville thing, guys, you know, I mean, seriously, when you look at it honestly, you know, there's so much to unpack there. And so I am not going to say they're this or that. I've heard some sketchy things, but I've seen and heard some really good stuff.
And then Amityville got hit with the Hollywood treatment, so you don't know how much of it is Hollywood version. And Hollywood tends to corrupt things like that. So.
But, you know, these girls were there. They spent a lot of time with the Warrens. It wasn't just one trip or whatever. There was a couple, and they did very much like an investigation like you saw in, like, Poltergeist. With, you know, they went through, and they had some guys from college that were tech that, like, what are we doing here? Well, they say they got ghosts, and before you know it, their face is peeling off. They're eating maggots, and they don't realize what's going on. But it's that kind of investigation. Do you remember Poltergeist? How like some of the guys that said,
the crap out of me.
This is nonsense.
When I saw that.
And stuff starts going haywire, and you know, you become a believer like that real quick. You either run and, you know, God knows what.
You know, at the end they used real skeletons too, right? You heard?
Yeah, that. I heard that. I heard there was a lot of stuff on there. I was watching a thing the other night about cursed movies. We might just do that, so I don't want to give too much away. Ooh. But yeah,
that could be a good
it's
one.
Like I get excited. I start digging. I'm like, oh gosh, and Donny will send me things. This would be a great idea, and it's so much fun, you know, to do this. And that's probably why I don't put up like 2 weeks ahead, because I want to spend time on these, and I want you guys to get, you know, the best kind of quality thing I can do. I mean, tech-wise, you're just, you know, there's going to be mistakes.
But you also want to have the flexibility to be able to turn on the dime if you have to.
Yeah, because things happen. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, today I probably spent, I'm going to say a good 8 hours on this, grabbing this stuff, putting it together, loading it. And it's not all constant that, but you have to load one. YouTube takes so long, you know, so I can't do too many of them, but it's been working out really good. We've been really enjoying doing the shows and the subjects, and I know you guys are too. You say a lot of kind things, and we dearly appreciate it. But yeah, so this has been kind of cool. It's just something I wanted to do because not a lot of people saw this movie, and for some who did, it's a nice memory. It's been a while, I bet, since you have seen it, you know, like you, Donny, you saw it so long ago, right?
So long ago.
Me too.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, so let me count my blocks. Hold on, I have to do reverse check here. I am up to number 5. Woo! Hang on to your garters, sisters. I'm telling you what. I mean, the train's about to leave the station here. Thank you so much, Susan. I appreciate you all very much, too. And I'm sorry I missed so many of your comments. It's so hard to do so many things at once. I'm learning. Fast is such a relief to work is done. I still have to put up my vintage style car signs. Oh, I want to see those, Fast. I love vintage cars. Motorhead. Blue says, I like these venues that gripe and complain about being charged so much for a 2-hour gig. They don't realize the countless hours of practice and rehearsal to sound. Yes, absolutely. You know, you should be paid for your talent and your artistry. I mean, nobody back in the day, and your time, your labor. That's one of the hardest things when I'm doing wire sculpting, because I see somebody's face light up and they pick it up, and it took me hours from the time of finding the gemstone, getting quality gemstone cabochons and stuff, and getting, quality wire. I, was getting it out of Canada, beautiful copper and silver wires. They do great there. It's a little couple that lives out in Vancouver. I love buying, small business. But anyway, you go through all this, and if you put all that time in it, you are never going to get back what you put into it. But what I get is like when they pick up I made something, and they pick it up and they look at it and their face lights up and their eyes get all kind of glittery and stuff. It's so cool. I'm like, let it go for, you're giving it away, man, because you like the appreciation. And, if you can do that to somebody, you've already just got paid. The money is just more supplies, right? Okay, let me count these and make sure I'm on the right one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5 we are up to, folks. Ladies and gents here, and it is, let me see what I've said. The battle begins. Boom, boom, boom. Do you got any drum rolls in there, Donnie?
I'm not good at mouth sounds.
Boom, boom. Here we go. Oh, that was perfect. That's great. It's perfect for this show.
I can do hand sounds, not mouth sounds.
Okay, now we're going to the part of the anatomy of a haunting. How much do you love this? It's like class. There will be no test. Your test will be life.
Oh, this is awesome.
Your test will be life, awesome. And you will like it.
It's like we're dissecting one particular haunting case. This is awesome.
Yeah, right? Okay. Oh, such a good case, man. Yeah. And there's so much more to it. Okay.
And good video, too.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, I mean, it is. There's a couple on there you got to be careful because some of them, their mouths don't meet their words.
Yeah.
You know what somebody did something with an old beta or something? I don't know. But anyway.
Oh, and can I just quickly add?
Please do.
The fact that the people in these in this movie are actually good actors makes such a big difference, doesn't it? Don't you hate reenactments where the actors suck? And
yeah, they such good. Yeah. I mean, from the time, they started. That's why I thought it was important. In 1975, moving in the house, it's our dream home. Here we are, family, we're getting along, and everybody's, sisters are getting along like sisters. Everything is just so cool. Oh, Susan says, I've been carving for 15 years. Some people complain on the price. They aren't paying me for a piece of carved wood. They're paying me for my 15 years. Amen, Susan. Yes, amen. That's true. What you're paying for. But I'll tell you, experience should cost. But, and I often have to go through that. Being an artist, I do a lot of different, medias and that. I'm different all over the place with wire sculpting and dream catchers, and then doing Native American tradition art, which I don't even charge for. I just gift or trade on that because I don't believe in making money on that. That's me, my opinion, and just me. And it just doesn't feel right. It feels like passing it along to somebody who appreciates it is so important. So, but you'll never get what you put into it. I've seen beautiful Delica bead peyote stitch earrings that probably took this beautiful elder hours upon hours to make these tiny little beads, almost as small as a poppy seed. And she's got these beautiful beads, and I know doggone well that these Toho beads and kind of no beads are probably costing, they're not cheap. They're like some of the best available. And the time it must have took her frail little hands to put this together and sew all this stuff and make these beautiful earrings. $15.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't made to do it?
I cried when I saw her table. I said, don't. Please. She goes, I'll never get what I put into them. I just want somebody to have them.
You know, I mean, bought it out of principle.
Oh gosh, it gets really sad, And
That's
Susan says she
depressing.
gives away part. Yep, I give away pieces when my heart tells me to. I've given
Man,
away
that
more
makes
than
me
I've ever
sad.
sold. Yeah, given away more than I've ever sold. But it's just the way it is because if you're an artisan or, and I mean like a fast machinist in here. He's an art in his what he does, working with machinery. So many people here. Blue plays the guitar, artist. So many art, so many things. Whether you're making cards or baking, whether you're baking shut the fuck up cakes or whatever, everything like that is an art, and I believe it's also a form of meditation in a way. Do you feel that, Donnie, when you're writing or when you're doing something that you really enjoy doing? It's almost like a meditation, like a grounding. We may not call it that, but I think in some ways it has the same effects with the endorphins and the peace it brings, and stuff like that.
I'll admit, when I do feel like that is
Oh wait,
when I'm.
be careful. This is a public show. Go
Oh
ahead.
no, not like that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
When I was a competitive gamer, I used to experience that.
Oh gosh,
Like when I
yeah.
would like travel the
That
country and competing
euphoria,
in
man.
tournaments,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I'm going up against this dude who's claiming to be the best person in the state of Nebraska, who's the best at this character, and he happens to be the same character that I've been playing, and he took
Yeah.
a flight all the way just for the chance to play me. And I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill this dude.
Right?
And then like a
Man.
whole crowd gathers, and yeah, I remember that feeling. It's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I got obsessed with Zen Buddhism. It's just like what was that? I was in the zone. Like, what was that experience of being in the
Zone.
zone?
Yeah.
It's like you're
Everything.
operating on a
Yeah.
higher dimension.
And it's so wonderful we get to pick the one that's right. Can you imagine being forced into something that didn't fit or you didn't understand? I think that happens to a lot of people. And then they're afraid to try another thing that's similar, but it's like this, and we need to try those things. I was very fortunate to have a mom who told me to go find the right fit. Here's our base. There's lots of different flavors to it. It's like going in a Baskin Robbins 31 flavors. You might like a little vanilla with a scoop of pistachio on top. You might like chocolate sprinkles on top of that. My favorite all-time sundae. This is a secret now, so don't tell anybody. But if through my life I can actually remember times going in and ordering a chocolate chip mint hot fudge sundae with wet walnuts. Yes.
Wait, they
So
have
good.
chocolate chip mint sundaes? I thought all sundaes were like vanilla.
No, honey. We need to introduce you to the whole world of ice cream. You never having a milkshake or anything else. This is a whole nother show. This
I
is a
thought
Rescue Donny
sundaes were
with ice
just
cream
like
show.
vanilla ice cream with like hot fudge, and then you put a cherry and just some
You
stuff
can
on it.
have what they call hard. You're familiar with soft serve and hard pack ice cream, correct? Or handmade. So you would So soft serve was going to come out of machine. They do a little little dollop of daisy or whatever you call it. They make the little swirl. Sometimes it's vanilla, sometimes it's chocolate, sometimes it's mixed. I shit you not. You can get it mixed, and you could get sprinkles on that. And the sprinkles also come in different flavors. They all really taste the same, but they're pretty. Some are rainbow sprinkles, some are chocolate sprinkles. Some really radical people do both at the same time. I'm not one of those. I have drawn the line on mixing sprinkles. Something about me. And I don't like those little hard balls. I like the jimmies or the sprinkles, depending on where you are. It's like pop and soda. So, and there's toppings. And toppings have changed over the years. It used to be sprinkles, if you were lucky. And you might get some chopped nuts. Or then I believe there was also wet walnuts. Some of you guys remember the old ice cream parlors back in the day. The big deal was the banana split, which is a whole nother show, Donnie. But it's ice cream with actual fruit in it. Multiple different fruits, multiple different ice creams.
A banana split?
And usually whipped cream and several cherries. Yes, banana split.
Oh, I thought banana splits only had bananas in them.
There's also a cartoon. It was kind of like HR Puff and stuff. There's a whole song. Again, we don't, that's another show, but I can bring that if you want. Okay. So there you go. My favorite sundae, which is made with hand scoop, not the swirly wizzy ice cream and soft serve. Which, do you have any idea how they came up with soft serve? Even not understanding the history, think about what would have happened for them to come up with that. And who it may have been. Carvel, good old Carvel ice cream. Back in the day used to be brought ice cream in, big buckets with ice on a cart. Now, I don't know what years. I don't have all that info. But, yes, gelato too. Yes, Ann. And, of course, hot day. Something went bad. A thing broke down. A wheel broke. Something, horse. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, ice cream started to melt. So rather than lose it, he just starts giving it out for free, much like we give away our art. Right, Susan? So he's giving it out so it won't be wasted, and the people loved it. So he started to try to come up with a combination
they loved that
the
meltedness.
softer.
The softer.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And then he discovered,
yeah. So he perfected it, and that's how Sammy the Seal and what was the whale's name? Whale of a dad. What was his? It was Sammy the Seal and what was the whale's name? That's some stupid name. But
I
it
am
was
the
the
last
same.
person to ask.
It was the same cake mold. Oh, there's cakes too, Donnie, made out of ice cream and other novelties.
Oh no, I like ice cream cakes. I like the little black plums things. I love those things. Yeah.
All right, see right there. Well, Sammy the Seal and what was the whale's name? Somebody give me that. Fudgy the Whale. Oh, thank you. That one hurt. Fudgy the Whale. But again, same mold. We used to, as kids. Oh, I digress. Are we talking about ice cream ghosts?
Oh, by the way, real quick, one quick question. Am I a weirdo for claiming that sherbet is my favorite ice cream? Does that make me strange?
Because it's not an ice cream. It's a sherbet. It's an ice, and that goes in the similar category with gelato, and then you've got other mixtures, I'm sure. But you could say dessert might work better, or frozen dessert.
Like people would say to I remember my ex-girlfriend would be like,
frozen
you're
ice?
Weird. Why do you like sherbet? I'm like, sherbet's
fantastic.
Why am I weird about liking sherbet?
You know what else is really good? Italian ice, real Italian ice, like a lemon Italian ice or orange or cherry Italian ice. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. We must be hungry. So anyway,
we're digressing.
Ice cream sundaes. Yeah. Ice cream sundaes. Everybody's joy. Everybody loves this. The Cookie Puss. Oh, yeah, the octopus cake. I remember Cookie Puss. They just used the same mold, Donnie. This is a famous place in New York. Carvel was all over, like, the tri-state area. I think there's still a couple around, yeah? But it was huge. It was so huge. It was a big deal to go get a cone. And they came out with the cakes. So somebody just took the cake and said, brilliant idea, turn the mold, and now the seal is a whale. And then they come out with another one, and they just kept throwing stuff out there, and it was a big deal in New Jersey and New York.
Real quick, before we switch back,
go ahead.
I just wanted to say, the real reason why I talk about food so much with people in the chat and on these
hungry?
shows? No, it's because of something Rob Guttrow once said on one of their previous episodes. He was like, one of the things you do to ground yourself is to eat like a piece of chocolate, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of understand. It's because food is kind of like the opposite of what a ghost is. Ghost is death, food is life, right? So that's why whenever I'm trying to do like a grounding, even like thinking about food or talking about it, I feel like in a way it kind of grounds people.
Okay. Well, imagine, if you will, 3 scoops of some of the best Baskin Robbins or other ice cream of your choice. Some are creamier than others, and the ingredients are important to some and some isn't. But Baskin Robbins is not too bad. And it's chocolate chip mint, and it's covered in luscious, thick, dark, hot fudge, the real deal, not that cheap crap in a jar. Hot fudge. It's just lightly melting the ice cream, but there's that thing going on. It's like they're fighting each other, the heat fighting the cold, and then you lovingly
there's a conflict going on.
Yeah, you lovingly take 2 scoops of wet walnuts, which is walnuts that are dancing in this syrup that's not quite mapley and it's not quite honey. It's somewhere in between, but it does a nice with the chocolate chip mint. And you put a cherry on top with some whipped cream, and you eat that. And I'm telling you, you'll leave sherbet in the dust. So there you go.
That sounds like a lot of sugar.
I want ice cream.
That sounds like a lot of sugar.
It's for special occasions, Donnie. Okay. back to the ghosts.
That's like mainlining sugar at that point.
It's when it's, ice cream, because murder is illegal. You got to understand the whole, eating a quart of ice cream, and there's a lot more to it. Like I said, it's a whole nother episode. Okay, video number 5, dreamsicles. Yeah.
Laura said eating something when you're having bad anxiety helps ground too.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Hot fudge sundaes.
Whenever my ex would get stressed out, I would always just try to get something really yummy, and then they did calm down.
Oh, hint. Oh my God, you're so ahead of the curve on that, Donnie. Yeah. I tell everybody, get her lavender oil, get chocolate bars. You're gonna want to get a couple milk, and even if she doesn't like dark, get it anyway, because the more cocoa, is in it, the stronger it's going to be. And lavender tea, I'm drinking it right now. This one is lavender and I forget what it is. It's not mint, it's something else. Like, I think it's lavender and chamomile and vanilla with probiotics, just for shits and giggles. So I got cat fur all over my face. That's why I keep doing this. I'm not doing coke, I swear to God. So what the hell were you talking about? Cocaine and ice cream.
I was going to say the real best way to exercise demons, folk, is to drown them with flavor.
Throw a hot fudge sundae at the bastard.
Yeah, just eat a hot fudge sundae and be like, yo, this flavor is overwhelming the negative energy.
Be gone, be gone, be gone. Mix it with a little Florida water and some sage, it'd be all right. Okay, so the battle begins. Back to that was intermission, folks. Let's all go to the lobby.
That was the halftime show,
Let's all go to the lobby. Okay, so everybody's got your popcorn and your bacon. Hang on to your bootstraps, because it's getting ugly, folks. This is the battle begins. This is the fight, I believe, along with the other things we mentioned, the mind, the psyche, the heart, the love, okay? This one is going after your inner strength, to break down your will, to make you quit, to make you feel like there is nowhere to turn. Now, that usually happens when you start reaching out for help, okay? You're trying to find your quest to find that understanding. What's going on? Does somebody else understand what's going on? And can they come in here and tell us how to make it freaking stop? Basically that point. Okay? Hey, Mr. Dickens. Say hi, Mr. Dickens.
I'm going to be watching on my phone outside as I smoke.
That's fine. This one is about 5 minutes. The next one's 15. So, all right. So this is also usually often includes embarrassing situations, humiliation, because now your kids in school are starting to hear. Your kids are starting to get teased. Maybe it's the people at work. Maybe you confided in a neighbor and now everybody's talking and pointing. It's all that kind of stuff. Take care, Fast Hemi. Thanks for dropping in. I hope you catch the rest of it. You're going to love the ending. So, where have I heard that before? Okay, wait a minute. Let's see. Humiliation. Okay, so it usually happens if you are involved in a church or a religion and you go for help, but they don't believe you, and then they have to jump through a bunch of hoops and bureaucracy and things like that to be able to help you. I can't speak from experience one-on-one, but I can tell you from what I've heard that the Catholic Church is one of the hardest to get to come in and help. It goes up and down, and now there's more demonologists. Again, we heard all that when we had our friend Carl on here and Anito on here and talking about all that. So it's a little bit more open up, but we also heard demonologists can't be an exorcist and vice versa. They're two different things. So in the Catholic Church, it's exorcism. And in some cases, we have all heard, for the most part, I would say in this chat, that for some entities, that is the only thing that's going to work. Now, does all this other stuff you're doing help along and keep things off and keep stuff at bay? You bet it does. But not every case, but in most. So in this realm, okay, so there we go. You've got that whole push and pull, and yet you're still kind of holding on to hope. You know what I mean? You're hoping that somebody out there not only will believe you, but will come and help you. And if they will come and help you, that they're carrying the right information that's not going to make it worse. but it's going to at least get it somewhere back to normal. So it's a pretty devastating part of the time. And again, it's going after the inner strength.
How's school with you?
It's great. I know. Hello, darlings. How are you? So nice to see you here. Hello, Jen.
I loved what you said about St. Francis.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Happy Sunday to you, my father. Happy Sunday to you, too. And you.
Father, can I speak with you?
Janet, how are you?
I've been better.
I'm sorry to hear that. Can I be of any help?
Father, could you come to dinner Friday night?
Yes, I think I can make that. Can you give me some idea of the problem you're having?
It's the house problem.
A house problem.
Oh, superstitious, eh? Oh, like that kid.
You know, marriage can be a very tough thing, very tough. And you all haven't had an easy time of it. Sometimes what we think of as ghosts or demons are really the demons in ourselves. Now tell me, have you two ever thought of marriage counseling?
Father, I really don't think this has...
I have a counseling group myself. We meet at the church every Wednesday night. It's very popular, but I think I can make room for you if you'd like.
Father, I saw it too. Father, please look around the house.
I will. But I want you to think very carefully about what I've just said here. Now, you do that for me while I take a walk around, will you?
Sure.
Thank you, Father.
I'll go and say a blessing in every room, and if there is a presence in the house, that ought to get rid of it.
Thank you.
Bless this house and this room, and keep it safe from evil. The Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Bless this house and this room, and keep it safe from all evil in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Please stop touching me. You poked me first.
Quiet, girls. Father, are you all right?
I'm not feeling well.
Well, can we get you anything?
Better. No, nothing. Nothing, thank you.
So, what is it, Father? Can you help us?
I don't know. But, if anything else happens here, please call me. Yeah, thank you. I'll do whatever I can.
Thank you, Father.
Mom, what was he doing here?
He came to bless the house, honey. It's something the church does. Isn't that nice?
I guess so.
You think it's over?
I think that spook got itself a room at the Holiday Inn.
You're not just saying that.
I'm not just saying that.
Oh, Jack.
Man, I think he just done pissed that thing off.
Wow. Well, there you go. So now you're reaching out for help. You're going through, they're asking in the chat about do they have special training for exorcisms? Yes. They have what they've done over time. Now, again, I'm not a Catholic, so I'm just on the outskirts of this, but it seemed like they were all for it at a certain time. In certain decades, they kind of pull back and shy away from it and don't really bring it out. The 70s was actually one of those times. It took a lot of people. It takes it could take years to get them to say okay to do an exorcism. You see it in different movies, but again, it also has to do with the decade and the time and what was the wish of the church at the time. I hear recently from people that are involved in this and do this daily that they have ramped it up quite a bit. They're starting to teach again now, a little bit more than they were, and a lot of people also are going into demonology, which is again supposedly two different things.
In the Catholic Church's defense, I don't think at the time there were too many priests that were trained in that particular aspect of their ministry, exorcisms. So you also have to consider that there was like a very limited number of priests that could go around and handle these situations who were actually trained for this,
And we've heard through like Al and a couple of the guests that we've had on the show, and I know Brian's Bowden's talked about it, and I know I have, where one will actually follow a priest. They'll recognize them, from years ago. I mean, this is something, again, time is irrelevant. And we keep thinking that. And again, people keep asking these people, like, why did you stay so long? It's like we didn't have all of this at one, it was all at one time, but so drawn out and so long to start getting everybody to understand. I mean, this poor woman kept for years what was going on with her until she just couldn't take it anymore. The bedroom scene there where it was coming in the window, that was something that she was describing where she'd actually see it. And I'm often wondering if it was, you think about just stuff going down the street looking for a target, hey, there's somebody that's almost broken. Let me go in there and feed on that a little bit, just passing spirits by, going in and out of houses. I mean, I don't know that that's not true. I have more on the side of believing it is true than not. So, your guess is as good as mine. You guys decide. All right, so that was the battle begins. They've made a move to fight. They're trying to find out. They're trying to find understanding, and people that have knowledge, they don't, on how to get rid of this. So, they've started. They're trying to fight. They're doing something. So therein lies their battle beginning. And again, that's like for your inner strength. They seem pretty strong there at the end. It's like, man, we tried this, and I know it worked. We're staying positive. What if it didn't? What would that do to your faith? What would that do to your love, to the unit? Would people go back and start shunning again? Like, we tried something, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Would it go that route, or would something else happen, or a combination? It's different in each family. In mine, it made it worse to talk about it, because then you had the human factor involved and people denying that things were happening and calling names in the fights. What do you think, Donny?
It kind of got me thinking a lot about these Catholic priests who do come to these people's homes and bless their houses when all of this stuff is going on. Mm-hmm. And part of me is wondering, maybe all that really dark sexual stuff that happened in the Catholic Church was a result of like too many priests trying to attend exorcisms that were poorly trained, and then they would bring entities back to their congregations, and then they would just sit there and infest like the other priests.
I would say that there's more than likely multiple cases of that. I mean,
Yeah.
I would be insane to say it couldn't happen. I would say it's highly likely that it's happened. And I also think that, the chicken before the egg, was it an easier target because that was already happening, and then it just escalated. So, you definitely have that constant, push-pull of feeding and, having something to feed on, and, chicken or the egg, which came first.
And to like a demon, a priest would be such an attractive target.
Mm-hmm.
It
Oh,
could
yeah.
do so much
Absolutely.
damage. I mean, if they're thinking strategically, they're like,
Absolutely.
that's the target I want.
If I can break that one and
If
I
I
can
can
break
break
that
that
one's
guy,
faith, that's
oh
exactly.
man, I'm bragging to my buddies back in hell. Like we're all
Yep.
high-fiving each other.
You're getting it, Donnie. You're getting it, my friend. Okay. Battle lines. Now, battle lines, this one's kind of special because, again, it's ramping up pretty good. Know thy enemy. That's what I mean by the battle lines. The battle lines are drawn. Who are you fighting? What are you battling? Okay, you're battling for your family. You're battling for, your sanity, to get normalcy back, So everybody is drawing battle lines here. It's the most frightening of the whole thing in the anatomy here because because this is when stuff really starts amping up. Everybody starts showing off what kind of weapons they have, how much of the ammo, how long they're willing to endure, how long they're willing to wait, how long they're willing to put up with. So this is a very, important part of this whole breakdown here.
I think this is the part of the movie when I was a kid where I was like this the whole time.
Yeah.
Just covering my eyes.
Yeah. So those things usually include, we've got like the darkness that is creeping in all the crevices, hitting all the the right buttons and all this other stuff. Now you start getting into the physical attacks. The just grabbing of the leg and stuff in the bed and stuff like that. That could be called a physical attack. It's somebody touching you without you wanting them to. It's absolutely an attack. But there are different levels of attacking. So keep that in mind. One could be just as frightening as the other, that's for sure. So, learning what is possible is possible in a haunting. Who's doing what? Am I dealing with a human ghost or, just jump into the whole demon idea, and what constitutes it? How do you separate it? So that's all part of it. So you've got your mental, your physical, all those attacks, okay? And again, it can add in the sickness, and with more of a show of force, that I can do this too. I can come into your dreams. I can, levitate you. I can do all these things. So this is basically the meat of the things where you're trying to figure out your who, your what, your where, how, and why is really threaded all through there. Like, why me? Why us? Why here? Why now? That kind of thing. Why are you doing this? So many whys. So, and finding out the answers to those can be pretty hard. So here we go. This one's 15 minutes, Donnie. So if you need to run, you got it.
I'm
buddy.
all nicotined up. I'm good.
You good? You good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Battle lines. Know thy enemy.
Ed? Yeah, this place was like a bunker last night, like there was a war going on here. When can you come back? I see. Well, we're just going to get out of here for a few days. Camping. Okay. Right. We will. Thanks. Bye-bye.
What did he say?
He said that there is a war going on here.
Who stole my golden arm? He moaned. Who stole my golden arm? He moaned. Where's my golden arm? It's here! It's not funny.
Bedtime, you two.
Oh, Mom, we're not tired. It's too early.
Well, it's not too early for us. What do you say, Pa? You ready for bed?
Almost. Katie's roasting me a special marshmallow.
He likes it golden brown on the outside and runny on the inside.
Yep.
Don't spoil him. He'll get used to it.
Don't go to bed yet. I've got hot chocolate for everybody.
Us too?
You too. Hey, honey, you got some wood.
This is all I could find. It's what I picked to clean around here.
It's such a clear night. See the Big Dipper?
Oh, yeah.
Pot and the
I
hand
can see
coming
it.
off of it.
can all bet that dog's got himself a raccoon.
Or that raccoon's got himself a dog.
Mom.
I called the police.
What in the world's going on in there? They were away on a camping trip.
That dog never gonna shut up. It's gonna keep us awake all night.
Mom, you want a refill?
No, I'm fine.
Sean, here's your drink up. Sean, what is it? What do you see?
Jack!
Come on, Sean.
Away, dog.
Easy, it's all right.
Dad, let's get out of here. Mommy.
No, Jack! You don't know what it'll do to you!
What is that?
I don't want to go home. Maybe we can never get away from it.
Take it easy there, kid. We'll be all right as long as we're all together.
The church, we've got to get them to listen to us.
I'm going to call the Warrens again. I don't know.
Everyone heard it. It sounded like somebody was being tortured to death.
We called the police. They came over, they checked the house out, and they said they didn't find anything wrong. I've never been so scared in my whole life. Oh, Janet.
I'm so glad you're home.
I wish I was.
Bud, it's me. They're all right. I'll be there as soon as I can. Bye. I've got to get home. Bud's having a problem with the kids. Look, if you want, I can get hold of the Sacred Heart League. They come to people's houses and pray for them.
We'll think about it. Thank you.
Janet, if I were you, I'd get help right away.
If I were you, I'd move.
If you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to call us, okay?
What's going on here? I don't know.
Jack, we gotta get out of here, no matter what.
What's going to stop it from following us no matter where we go?
Then we send the kids away. Aaron and Sean can stay at Aunt Lily's for a while. Why
No.
not? Colleen and Katie can stay with their friends.
The Warrens told us to stick together.
I don't care what the Warrens said. I want my kids safe. I'm not going to stand by and watch them go through this anymore, Jack.
Come on, you guys. It's time to go. Okay.
Bye, Mom.
Oh, you be good. No ice cream for breakfast, okay?
Okay, be cool, Mom.
I will. Thanks so much, Aunt Lily.
Oh, you're welcome, and don't worry about a thing.
You give us a call later on?
I will, and we'll have fun.
I'm sitting in the front.
Listen, Ed, we've had enough of this. Now, what would happen if we leveled this place, if we just tore it right down to the ground? It'd mean that we'd lose everything that we put into it, but...
I wouldn't do that.
Why?
Jack, that's exactly the kind of defeat the demon is going for. You understand that, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Your only option is to try and get your church to come and perform an exorcism.
Ed, the church won't even return our calls. But I've had an idea. What if we took our story to the press? Maybe we could shame the church into helping us.
Going to the press has risks. They could easily turn against you. One day you're a hero, the next day you're a liar. Now you've got to explore every other channel before you go to such an extreme, Jack.
Well, I just don't know how much more of this we can take.
We felt relieved that our kids were out of danger. But Jack and I also needed some peace. We felt safer downstairs. I'll get it.
Hello? Hold on, honey. I can't understand you.
priest really ought to come from your own region and your own faith.
But we've worked with this man a number of times. He used to be a Catholic, but he left the church over some policy disagreement.
He's what you'd call a bit of a renegade, but he'll do the best he can for you.
Wait, once this guy comes, that'll be it, right?
The demon will either go away, or...
Or what? Retaliate.
That's the risk you take with an exorcism.
Okay, we'll take the risk.
In the old days, exorcisms were performed by 3 priests, but it's difficult to find anyone to perform the ritual these days, so I'm going to need your help. Jack, were you ever an altar boy?
Yes, Father, I was.
Good. You can say the responses, and if you'll take that holy water. Now, if you and Janet will follow me. The rest of you can stay here. Dominus vobiscum.
Et cum spiritu tuo.
Deus in nomine tuo salva me fac, e virtute tua age causum meam. Holy Origine. Deus audi orationem meam, auribus percipe verba oris me, nam superbi insurrexerent contra me, e violenti quaes ierent vitam meam, non propusuerent Deum ante oculos suos. Ecce Deus adjuvat me, Dominus sustentat vitam meam, retorque malum in adversarios meos, e pro fidelitate tua destrue illos. Voluntari sacrificabo tibi, celebrabo nomen tuum Domine, Gloria bonum est, ex
Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and in the hour of our death. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and in the hour of our death. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and in the hour of our death. Amen.
Roses. I smell them too.
Yes, it happens every time. It's God's will.
Oh, Mama. Is it over now, Dad?
It's gonna be all right now. Father? What does it want with us?
It wants to kill you.
Why? Why us?
I think you were chosen. You, your parents, your wife and children are what I call victim souls. Good and evil are fighting it out through you. Your love for each other and your faith are the things that the devil wants to destroy most, because those are the only things that can destroy the devil. Don't lose your faith, Jack. It's keeping you alive.
Thank you, Father.
Come on, you guys.
This together. You won't cross any streets, okay?
Okay.
Okay, have fun. Bye-bye.
Months went by without a single incident. Every few days, the smell of roses returned. We could sleep again. And finally, we thought we had our house back.
Father, who art in heaven, please help me up these steps. Thy kingdom come. Please help me through the storm. Give us a sign. Our daily bread and help me by the holy water. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive others who trespass against us. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. What am I doing? I tripped. That's all. I tripped.
Yeah, you know you ain't just tripped. Come on.
It's what you tell yourself to survive. You don't want to go back there, you know? Janet? Janet?
Don't kill me, please.
Whoa.
Man.
You know, my first thoughts are these, and then I'll jump to you, Donnie. When we say that we have people, when we have investigators that are part of groups that go in to help people like this, you have to understand what their day is like, what their nights are like, never being able to really rest and wonder what's going on. And in some cases, it's very similar to what she did. What am I doing? I tripped, because you don't want to go back. You don't want to think, no, it didn't work. It took away the one thing I was holding on to that I've been told that can beat this. What's going on? It takes the legs out from under you. And I just want people to remember that when we joke a lot and stuff, we go, oh, Ouija board this and that, and we talk about it, we throw everything on the table, but, you know, and I just said it a couple weeks ago to a young man, you can poo-poo this all you want, but when people who disbelieve that these things can happen laugh like that, you know, I think of all the people that did in the past and that wound up calling people like me and my friends to go into this kind of darkness to get them back out because they thought it was, you know, just a plaything. This is really can happen. And It happens, I think, more often. Listening to the chat and people growing up. And it's second, I'm sorry you went through that with your dad. What an amazing experience. But huge hugs and everything else. There's so many different levels to this and so many different things that we gain and we lose along the way, and I think it's all part of that journey. I don't know what else to call it. How about you, Donnie?
I think these kinds of scenarios are important to consider and to study, because these situations, these possessions or entities or these spiritual attacks, it's actually a major safety issue if you really think about it. Not just for the family involved, but if it goes unchecked and it completely takes over, then it'll use those people to spread a whole bunch of other badness around them. It's because it works like a virus, right? Its goal is to take over this house, take over this family. Now that they're taken over, now it can do some real damage in the
Virus,
world.
yeah. Parasites. I mean, that's a great way to put it. That kind of thing. Parasitical. They're absolutely parasitical. You know what I mean? So, like I said, so many different levels. This case has so many to it. And the whole part we just watched of almost the experienced meeting the experiencer. So you've got that kind of poltergeist movie. Again, I'll use that because so many of us have seen it, when everybody shows up and it's not just the college people and the paranormal group that's great intent, very knowledgeable, has the tech. Then they bring in Tangina, who's the medium and the trance medium, who goes in there, let's go in there and get your children. Point blank. No bullshit, no nothing. And working in tangent together with all their talents and their knowledge. And they're just now starting to beat those people. They're bumping into the Warrens. Warrens are giving them, information and advice and going there and visiting and looking into the place. And then he's got this one gentleman. I wonder what you thought about what he said, Donnie. I thought it was so thought-provoking, where he called them, how did he put it? Let me make sure I've got it right. Victim souls. What do they want with us, Father? What are they doing here? They want to kill you. He's so direct and to the point. Got to give him courage for hanging in there. He wasn't flinching. He was standing his ground, but he was very matter of fact. This is what he.
And that was a priest, right? I remember that scene. That was the priest telling him that.
Yeah. And victim souls. And I thought about it when I heard it, and I've heard it before as well, and thought this was a perfect time to mention. Victim soul, what does that mean? Is that like a Job? Does your mind go to somebody like Job, who was almost like a pawn in this spiritual warfare of how much will he take before his faith breaks? And what kind of a God would really do that? It's not the one I know, but it's a story, and it's a famous story of suffering, and like that is different than spiritual warfare. It's almost trial by fire in kind of a way. You know what I mean? But then I thought a next level too. What if we chose this? Now we hear this in this, realm a lot, especially the people we talk to, that certain people choose to go through things for their own reasons, and they made those choices as a soul on the other side before they came back in. Again, a possibility, just throwing it out there.
It's the karmic possibility that the souls that experience paranormal attacks in this realm were chosen to do so because those souls are the warriors. They're the ones that can fight back.
And here to learn, and here to, it's like they're, like the guy said, they're living out their battle. Good and evil is living out their battle through you. And it's a way to look at that. You can get very deep and you can get philosophical. And if we had my good friend Zariah Askath on here, I'm sure he would give you a whole nother vantage point, But from my understanding, what I can understand in this consciousness right now, at this part of my journey, man, I can't say it isn't possible. I've heard some stuff, and I can't discount that by saying that sounds ridiculous, but I don't automatically go to blame, the God or the source or whatever that would have people do that. We've got the stories of Abraham and, this, or to prove this, prove that. I just never kind of bought those. I always thought it was like your own choice, and I can accept it better as
Wait, are you
being
talking
part
about,
of
like,
this big energy pool. I'm just talking about source right now, energy
Oh,
pool.
I thought you were talking
source.
about like biblical, like demonic possession stories, like Abraham.
No, but I was talking a biblical story of, where you get all these stories in this Old Testament about, go to sacrifice your own child to prove your love for me and all that. I never really bought that about God. That sounds more like man to me. I mean, it's just me.
Or
Okay,
probably
I'm
a
not,
different God, a
getting
less
it about
nice God.
I mean, I
Yeah.
just don't get that. It doesn't resonate with my consciousness at this moment. I think we're more of a come from that love, thing, and somebody that's from that wouldn't be that way. I think that's a man thing, but I can accept in my mind that there is a spiritual warfare between us. Somebody said it in the chat a couple of shows back. I don't feel like I'm in a spiritual warfare. You probably, in some cases, you may not, but what if you're at a red light, it's your turn to go and the guy behind you hits you? Well, you've got two choices at that moment. You get excited, you can get out and yell, you can act nice and calm. Those are choices. Is that a little mini spiritual warfare with your own consciousness and what you're working out in you see what I mean? This is so deep, but I just thought it was so interesting, the word choice, victim souls. So think about that and think about what you think, Yeah, it's just crazy. It's pretty good, isn't it? We've got like 3 more short videos to go, so like another 20 minutes. I hope you can hang, but we might as well finish this, right, Donnie? All right, now this one should be, I'm a little confused, but we'll hit this one and see where it goes, and I'll make it work anyway. So here we go with the next one, and I think it's the war. If it's the war, this is where, again, he says about the press.
Can I just mention real quickly?
Go ahead.
I couldn't help but notice that they made Ed Warren look like the paranormal Batman. Did you not notice that? Like he knew exactly what to say. Like he had all the answers. He's like, I understand the situation.
I love the chick playing Lorraine. I think she plays her in The Conjuring as well.
Man, that
I
guy
could be
looked
wrong.
like.
In another one, she plays Lorraine anyway.
I was watching him. I was like, man, that guy looks like Bruce Wayne.
I love the way they did this. I really do. I can see why the family, if they said it absolutely held true. There was so much more that they couldn't fit, but they liked the way it was done, And again, like I said, the daughters will come on there and they'll give you their opinion and what they said went down with the Warrens, and toward the end of it, tensions were getting high, I believe. Of course, why wouldn't they? Look what they're going through. What, who wouldn't? Be raveled. So anyway, I believe this is the war, and again, if it's the war, it's basically you start finding out who the heroes are, who's the people that are stepping up, and also you start seeing the haters, because you start getting the bullying, you get the hounding, and more trouble ensues because they chose to put their story in the press.
That was a bad move, by the way.
Because they thought somebody out there could help us. Again, they didn't have what we have today. So look how far we've come. At least that's progressed, yeah? I think that they would be so much easier.
They didn't have Travel Channel back then, calling the dead files, right?
Right.
Amy Ellen and Steve.
They couldn't call us. I get calls all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, who do you have for this? I'm like, hang on a minute,
Yeah.
But that's what we're here for. We've achieved that. That's something, So let's see what this is, the war. About 15 minutes. And this is also the human reaction to it. Yay!
Ed? Yeah, this place was like a bunker last night, like there was a war going on here. When can you come back? I see. Well, we're just going to get out of here for a few days. Camping. Okay. Right. We will. Thanks. Bye-bye.
What did he say?
He said that there is a war going on here.
Who stole my golden arm?
Okay, guys,
I
I'm
think
going
that
to
was the
run
wrong
through
one.
this. Yeah, I think I'd spliced two of them together. Give me just a second. I'm going to check it real quick. Just bear with me. I'm going to see if what I'm looking for is in here. If it is, we'll move
Because
on.
I
If not,
remember that Golden
yeah,
Arm
yeah.
reference, because that was one of the
I
all-time classic
think
scary.
I cut this one wrong. I'm sorry, guys, if I did. But either way, we'll fix it. So hang on. Let me just double check it. Give me a minute.
Yeah, this is when the demon gets like extra aggressive. Like he's just
We
like,
just
I don't
tore
even
it
care
right
about nothing
down
anymore.
to the ground.
Okay, this is it. I did kind of mix
Yeah.
it in here. This is where he's sitting, but I think I spliced it with something. So hang on one
Yeah, look
sec.
how dapper Ed Warren is in that shot.
Okay, this is what I wanted. Did we see this part?
Yeah, we saw all this. Yeah,
Where
we
they're
saw.
walking.
We found an Episcopal priest who will come.
Okay,
Yeah, and then they
he
did the
came.
exorcism, and then the priest.
Yep. Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
The end. Yep, that's the whatchamacallit.
And then she does like a backflip and says she tripped, which I'm like, oh, you just kind of did a backflip. I don't know.
Yep. I think I got my name. Oh, anyway, that's the book right there. Ed and Lorraine Warren, The Haunted, and that's what this movie is based on. Somebody was asking what the name of the movie is. It's right there, The Haunted, and it is free on YouTube.
And it's not the Sally House. It was a house
right.
in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So I think I mixed two of them up. But anyway, we'll move on to the next one. Sorry about that, guys, but you missed the guy being raped by a succubus. Yes, it happened, and that's what that stop sign was about. And I think that's where I missed that little splice. I'm sorry.
Oh, we're not
It
watching
gets
that
caught
part?
up. Probably don't have it, but if we don't, I'll play it tomorrow night. I promise. I got it. I think I just loaded it wrong. But that's the thing. He basically, the whole thing basically stemmed from upstairs, and he watches this lady he's never seen before slowly coming down the stairs, and she just
I
it's the
remember this
demon.
scene.
It's the demon, and it takes him
Let's go.
over.
Wait, maybe we should just wait.
Just
and then
wait,
just
and I'll show it.
him.
Okay.
Just show him. Don't. Yeah.
But I wanted to play if it's the next one. I want to make sure that they know what's going on, and it happened multiple times in the movie. They just said it once, but it happened multiple times, and it's also the part that when I listened to the daughters telling the story decades later, she said that was her mom was sitting at the kitchen table with her dad one of the mornings after it happened, and that's when she first started really getting scared because she had seen her parents so broke up, and he actually had to sit and tell his wife what happened to him. He couldn't stop it. He said it was multiple changing in front of him. They tried to do a good part of it, on the movie. They did a good job. I thought it was frightening as all get out.
So you don't have the scene right now?
I
Like,
don't think I do. I'm going to check this next one. I may. But
please, because I'm like, I kind of want to watch it now.
I know.
I'm getting excited. You're like
I know.
hyping it up. I'm like, I need to see this now.
I'm sorry. But it's important to go with the next part because
This scene messed me up pretty
yeah,
bad when I
yeah.
was a kid. It messed me up bad.
it was probably one of the first times too that they came out and even admitted that this kind of thing happens. But the clincher is, I hear decades later his daughter's telling about it. He sees him at the kitchen table and hears her dad telling, and was so embarrassed for him, walked away and didn't even listen to the rest of it because it was for his own privacy. And she said she had never seen her dad cry like that. He was a Navy guy. He was a tough guy. He was a good dad. He went to work. He did the things he was supposed to do. That's the thing that convinced me that the story was real. He would not have lied about something like that and put it out there. That type of man in this kind of family in that kind of time.
If you in the chat only knew what happened to this guy, I mean, what guy would be able to handle that okay? Any guy would be the same way. I'd be the same way if that happened to me.
Absolutely horrific. Okay, so let me see what I did to this one. This should be the light versus dark, so we'll see what happens here. Okay. Yep. Okay, we're good. So, real quick, this one, again, spiritual warfare. What can it do? What can it do? You amp up. So after that guy went through and they had the roses and the smell of roses and everything was fine for a while, that's when he got attacked. on the floor in the living room. That's when she got thrown down the stairs. That's when the daughter started getting pulled out of bed. I didn't do anything on here with the kids because I couldn't do that because they were so frightened. Just imagine children being pulled out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and they're trying to explain that to the parents, and the parents are trying to fight it, and it's your kid. So, the seriousness of this, I mean, we can laugh thinking, oh my God, this guy got, raped by a hot white. Believe me, there was nothing. This was the most horrific thing that's ever happened to this guy in his life. But he stood up and he continued to fight. So pretty cool. So here we go with this one. This is light versus dark. So you got to figure light versus dark, dark versus light. What light? How much? What kind of darkness? How much? What kind are you dealing with? So they're starting to see. They're dealing with something pretty darn bad here. Here you go.
What's going on?
Picked me up and threw me against the wall. Help me.
Yeah.
Let her go, you bastard!
I can't move.
I think it's time we went to the press. There has got to be somebody out there who can help us.
But Jack, the children...
You hear me? Nobody is gonna wreck my family. Nobody, nobody, nobody.
After feeling alone for so long, we were surprised by the attention of the reporters. Our story spread so quickly we felt sure that this was the way to find help. There was a lot of interest, but we were unprepared for what was to come.
The family is allegedly being threatened due to an ongoing
series of bizarre, even supernatural events.
Hey, Sugar! Seen a ghost lately?
Shut up!
Subjected to numerous eerie and frightening occurrences within their home that range from merely annoying to physically harmful.
The Smurls report the movement and disappearance of articles, unexplained noises and whispering, and actual manifestations of ghostly phenomena, which sometimes result in violence towards themselves
and their children. Mrs. Smurl recounted several instances where she had been attacked
in her sleep.
The latest encounter
actually resulted in her being levitated to almost 6 feet.
Almost 6 feet.
Smurl, can I ask a few questions about your ghost?
Are you all right? Did you have to scare her this way? She has a bad heart. Now get out of here.
Look, I'm just trying...
Now! Out!
No, I was here. Yes,
Here they come. Hey, Jack, you seen any demons last night?
We've told you everything we have to tell.
Right here. What happened last
night? Let him by. Cindy's got the scream. We all heard them. The whole block heard them.
I was taught that confession is good for the soul, but I didn't feel too good the next week. We got more than 200 calls from journalists. That doesn't include the oddballs who camped out at every door and window of our house.
I see it.
Those people began to worry us almost as much as the demons. We were afraid the outside world would think that we were crazy too.
Mrs. Earl, one question.
How many demons are there?
Quiet, please. We have a prepared statement.
When a family is stricken with a tragedy like a fire or a flood, people band together to aid the victims. But what if the tragedy isn't natural but supernatural? Then it's a different story. As reporters, you can see that this situation is now completely out of hand. We ask that you please help us now by leaving us alone and saying a prayer for us in church.
Father, can I try this? Father, what is your view? Do you believe in God? Father,
can we ask you, Father, are you going over the Smurl house? Father, are you really any help to the Smurls? Are you going to have an exorcism? Father, this way, please. Some sort of stake this way. Father, can I get a shot of your service? Father, what's the church's position on demons?
If you just turn around.
I'm Father Kent from the Scranton Diocese.
I don't believe it. Come in.
We thank you, God, for this food and all your blessings. We especially thank you for Father Kent.
The bishop sent Father Kent to stay with us and look for the evil spirits we had told him about. If he found anything, the bishop promised to take the next step.
About time.
You want to next?
No. Nothing. Right. Goodbye. I'm afraid I've been called back to Scranton.
Oh, no, don't go yet.
Janet, I've been here for 2 days and I haven't heard or seen anything unusual.
But don't you see? It's playing with us. It's hiding. It wants you to think that we're lying. Please, you've got to believe us. You've got to get us some help. Please, Father, please.
Janet, I don't think you're lying. Sometimes we think we see things, horrible things, when we're just not feeling very special in this world. I'm sorry.
Don't leave, Father. Please don't leave. Please don't leave. I beg you, not as a priest, but as a human being. Protect us. Don't let it kill my children.
Janet, I've done everything I could. Now let's not do anything we both might regret.
But you said that you would help. Promise. You promised. Come back. Come back. Come back.
So now what, right? And I just wanted to stop it there and just say, so now what? The priest actually comes in there, stays with them for 2 days.
I can't believe he bounced like that on them. Like, he
He's
knows what he
following-
saw.
Oh yeah, but he's following the whole rules. What are these rules, and why can't they just have people go in there? I don't get it. The next
Can I defend
step,
that guy actually a little bit?
he's got to follow what he's told, like a soldier.
He's got a bureaucracy. He's got bosses.
Yeah.
He's got red tape. He's got rules and regulations. And,
He gets no bacon, Glenn says.
I kind of get it, man.
I agree.
I mean, you're part of this machine, and you got to do what you're told sometimes.
But also keep in mind of how this is breaking her. I mean, they know enough to hold back. He's whatever is in, the dark masses, the one that's really in control in this case. I also believe, because of other things that I've heard about on this case, that there were those things that passed by. I don't know whether this was one of those houses or people groups
If
that
I was
was
this,
more, like a guiding light, like they're picking up on it, like the activity in the house is drawing other ghosts that are just passing by. You get what I'm saying?
if I was this woman, I would think like the whole world was against me. I
I
would think
know.
like Darth Vader himself,
So awful.
Thanos, was out to get me. Because like not only is everything going on with her house and her family, but now like it's public, and then you
Look
got
at
all these
how they're.
randos showing up.
This is where the kids start getting it in the school. He's taking Razin at work. I don't know. I don't believe the succubus and the rapes and things came out in the paper. They were very careful. At one time, she just was sitting there, and there's just reporters after reporter after reporter, kids bringing in stuff, and they're just going, and they're just trying to get that story out there because, like, we need somebody, and the Warrens were traveling around, doing all these seminars and stuff. So they weren't always readily right there. So it's not like they were there all the time. So, I think to get it time accurate, I have to read the book again, or at least watch the Ed and Lorraine, that
you also
official
have
website
to,
on YouTube that
I
has
think you
all
also,
the interviews. Go ahead.
I think you also have to appreciate the gravity of going public with a story like this, is because you are also, as parents, professionals, and you also have to worry about like your job and background career. Background
The whole
check
shebang. This took such
So
it was, you could say it was bravery. You could say it was just a sheer desperation. You know what I mean?
like showing up on the news and stuff like that, and having random people show up on your lawn,
Absolutely.
that's not probably the best path
Yeah.
in any of this.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to let this one finish playing out. I wanted to stop it and tell you about the priest there, that he was there for 2 days, but the thing knew and it hid. When you've got things that come visit, the people that are coming to help you at their homes and breaking down their cars and trying to deter them from coming, I mean, of course, it's going to hide if it knows it can do the most damage to you by doing that. It's probably sitting in a dark corner somewhere just smiling. It makes me sick. But, and it's hard to watch, and it's hard to wrap your head around it. But, like I said earlier, it's like know thy enemy, because these things are affecting people that, call us for help, or, we go to investigate. You got to know that those things are there. This is the stuff I think of, like I said, just a couple of days ago, I was on a round table on another podcast with some, young people who didn't really know what they were saying. And they're like, oh, I'll do that. You're all brave and everything. And you get in there until it gets real. And then
it gets
change.
real.
Gets real quick. So let's finish this one up here, and I got a couple surprises for you, and then we'll finish up here. But thanks for all hanging in. I appreciate it. And hit the
This
thumbs
is
up.
fun. Can I
Hit
just
the
say
thumbs up.
something on behalf of
Yep.
me and the chat? This is a lot of fun.
It is so much fun for me. I
This is
enjoy
like the
this
most
so
fun
much.
I've had in a long time.
This is just, and we're all like taking knowledge and putting it in there. So many different stories, so many different experiences. And this is exactly, at least in my lifetime, Donnie, as much as this is meant to me all through my life, not by choice. I'm the reluctant, it just like everybody, it happens to you. And then you just inquisitive and you want to understand. If nothing else, I got to see on my journey, we got to this point where we can talk about it, and people like this can reach out and get the help sooner, understand more. It wouldn't take so much as years. We've gone in and seen cases taken care of, one and done. And then we've seen the ones where you go in and it's therapy, and we've all heard the stories of it just keep coming back for whatever reason, or it's a bloodline thing. There's also in this interview, and again, I'll say it again for the gentleman that has a YouTube, I believe he's a relative of the Warrens. It's called Ed and Lorraine Warren's official channel, and you can see a lot of the interviews that they did with the Smurls, and talking about that, as well as like almost like a tour of the house and where all the different things happen. So you can really dig into this if you want to try to understand. This is just a snippet. Okay,
just
go
out
ahead.
of curiosity, Cisco,
Yeah.
I just had a random question. Did Ed and Lauren, because I don't know much about them, I never really dug
Me
into
either. I'm
their
no
story
expert
too
on
much.
it. Go ahead.
Do you know if they had any kids?
They had, from what I understand, and my understanding at this point, there was girl that they got that they adopted, and I believe she was 13, and I believe there was a controversy about that where people tried to make that sound like something. Whether it was something, I don't know. I don't pretend to understand, and no accusations. But I did remember hearing something about that. She may, I'm sure she's still living, would have something to say, about that. And I know there's other interviews that.
So they have one adopted daughter. Oh.
Yeah, and I think there's a nephew. I think the man that has the YouTube channel with the interviews, I think he might be a nephew. I know that John Zaffis is. He is. And then, you got people you either love or, love John Zaffis or don't. A lot of people say that haunted collector show he had was just a guy. He just really wanted antiques, and he'd go and say, this is haunted. You want me to take it out of your house, take it back to mine? Sure. And I mean, that's Steve's take on that, and I can't argue. I can't argue. But then again, it could be totally legit, or it could just be a great idea for a show. And, they were trying to do a little something and teach people a little history and a little stuff about haunted objects. I mean, all of those things could be true at the same time, in a lot of ways. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know much about them, but I'm starting to get real curious. I think I'm going to take a deep dive down that rabbit
there's
hole
books.
pretty
I
soon.
mean, we could do a whole 2 shows on just
I'm
the
getting real
Warrens.
curious about them now.
You've got the Conjuring case again. I'm like this on that, and I mean, I don't even want to.
I'm curious
sensationalism.
I'm curious about people on the front lines of this spiritual warfare, like the Warrens. Like they were on the front lines, like Bill Bean, front
I've
lines.
seen them do some good, and then I've seen, I've heard people with cases, but again, you got to take everything in. You listen to Lorraine
Also,
speak.
everyone's
She's so
human,
sweet.
man. Yeah.
She's so sweet. I don't doubt that she had multiple abilities. I don't doubt that she wasn't legit trying to help. In her later years, she did a lot of the paranormal. Guys, what was the name of that show? Took place in Penn State? Paranormal, maybe? With, the kid who unfortunately got involved in drugs and stuff and everything went haywire. Not too long ago, it was a paranormal show. I think it's Penn State Paranormal. And I mean, they had a lot of really good stuff going on. They had a lot of good mediums. I think they even had Chip Coffee involved in that. I love Chip. I mean, he's just, no holds barred, doesn't give a shit. But, and very talented, You might not like his personality because, like I said, he's just that way, and he doesn't, he's just not having it. He just does what he does. But, you got to take the whole thing. It doesn't mean that they're not talented if they're flamboyant or, a lot of people in this are extremely eccentric,
Yeah.
But so anyway, let's see what else we got here.
You can't not be a little bit eccentric when you're in this world. You can't not be.
I think that's a good point, Donny.
I think we're all a bit eccentric. I know I am.
That we enjoy life a little bit more, and I think we enjoy the subtleties of it and the magic and the mystery and the marvelous, the special things. That's what I do, but I also recognize that there's a reason to have a strength in all those things of the light and the metaphysical properties of stuff, because there's somebody on the other side using a lot of those things for bad, so even if you don't intend to battle, these people didn't intend to battle, and I don't think we intend to battle at any point in time in our day, but I still am of the mind that even sitting at that red light with that road rage or whatever, and that little angel and little devil on your shoulder saying you should chase that car down and bust his windshield, or you should just turn this way and try to be nice to the next person you see to counteract that that hatred that just went down the road. Well, most of the time we probably land in the middle and don't do either thing, and that can also cause anxiety and stuff like that. So understanding how to release all that energy without having to build up, which is a lot of the cases we see with people not releasing energy, and energy is going to find a way out, and it's going to find a way to manifest, and that's where you get a lot of your poltergeists and a lot of that telekinesis stuff too. So there's so many things involved for one person to come in and say, I understand all of this. You can have that with a medium who's listening to the ghost telling her what's going on, but you also have the discernment of understanding that I could see somebody down at the shop, right, a living being that's going to lie to me. So again, multiple layers, right? Crazy. But again, this is what's happened to them, and this is the finishing up of a little bit of their story here. So she just got devastated because the priest walked out. Now
He just
what?
bounced on them.
Right. But does that mean it's the religion's fault? Is that the bureaucracy of the religion? Is it the spirituality of the religion isn't good enough? Is it the people that are praying aren't doing it right?
I think it's a
Or-
little bit of everything of all the above.
Yes. Yeah, it's everything. So we
Yeah.
need to not focus on, oh, that's just, that's the way that
Yeah.
sect is, because you're going to get that in other things too. There are rules to follow, even in a village, with how they dealt with something going on. You go way back in any village and, in a teepee near you or a cave near you, there was a way they dealt with things. It's no different now.
Oh,
It's
they
just more
handled that.
people involved. Yeah.
They handle that.
Oh, yeah. But there was a way they
Yeah.
handled it. There was a
Let's
ritual
just
to
say
it.
over in Asia, this situation that's going
Yeah.
on right now, if that was
Mhm.
happening over in Asia, yeah, we would have handled that.
You just handled
Yeah,
it.
we would have handled it.
And I think the thing is with this case, again, time, the decade, what was happening, how slow information. There's still handwriting letters back then. I can attest to that.
Yeah.
Phone calls trying to catch somebody. No email, no internet, no nothing.
Imagine if there were if there was
Books.
this situation happening with like a Native American tribe, their shaman would have been like cracking his knuckles, is like, yeah, let me handle this. I got
Handle
this.
it.
It'll be gone tomorrow.
But also in the understanding that whatever that energy is, if it was here before we were, it also feels like it has a claim to space. And it's feeding and it's hungry, and what it's hungry for we can only guess. It could be just a little energy by scaring and spooking some people and throwing over, or is it going for the ultimate? Because honestly, it's like the priest said,
You know what?
it's basically to kill your confidence, kill your spirit, your will, your faith, kill you, or better than that, if they can get you to kill somebody else. And in some cases, it even goes to the next level of that's not good enough. It wants your soul. So that's also in the anatomy of the haunting, the entire package, your breath of life, your very connection to your higher self, to your source, to your rest of your existence, because we don't even know what a soul is, but what we can imagine it is. It must be precious because they absolutely want it, and it seems like it's really the only thing that we really have some say over. So of course you're going to battle, and with everything you have, and even if it's not working, the first arrow might not kill him, but you're going to keep shooting, right?
I don't know
So
if
there
it's
you go.
quite they want our souls as
In some
more
cases
as like
they
they're
do.
trying to lower the overall vibration of
Absolutely.
humanity. And this is the best way they can go about doing it, is just
Mhm.
causing as much trauma and pain
Mhm.
and just spreading it like a virus.
Absolutely agree. But in some cases too, as in the Soul Collector, like in Cabin 22, it really wanted something that it didn't have. So you're also trying to think of what are these
Yeah.
ancient creatures about? How do they
See,
think? What
my
do they
argument
want?
is
And we
I
really
don't
can't do
think
that.
I don't think they want our souls more as they want our karma.
Could be too.
I think that's what
I
they're
mean,
after. I
it's
think
all
they're trying
valid.
to feed off our karma.
All
I think they're
value-
just trying to
value-
cause negative karma,
Right.
lower the vibration, create more negative karma. Because I'm pretty sure they know that, you can't just take our souls like that. Our souls don't work that way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's so many different theories and so many different things. But again, that's what we're doing. We're talking about it and we're throwing out ideas and trying to figure out what the heck is going on and why do they want something like that? Why do they want to break you so bad? Why do they want to win? Why do they want to take away that spark, that divine spark? Why? So, let's see. Let's see what happens here.
I always say at the end of the day, despite whatever your personal views or philosophies may be on the nature of demons, at least we can all agree they're just fucking assholes.
Yeah. Yep. And
They're fucking assholes.
Yep. And sometimes they connect in with some ass souls who were actually just human beings that were just kind of not the greatest human beings.
Yeah.
And they team up like I believe they did here in this house. And it's a real, to bring back ice cream, Baskin Robbins 33 flavors.
Rosalie, it's Janet. Is Jack still there?
All of you! Now! You all right?
You really think that's
You better get away from the window and lock all your doors.
Hey, mister. Just let me in the house.
I can't let you in, mister. We've got ghosts, remember?
You think she's gonna use the weapon?
Something might happen to you. Now back. Get back.
Get a good close up there.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm moving over.
Just Squirrel, sir. Get a shot at Mr. Squirrel.
Better get your shotgun.
What happened? What's going on?
Take the girls into the kitchen. And you better pray for me tonight, hon. Because that is the only thing that is going to keep me from killing somebody.
Take a candle.
Take a candle. Now let's pray. Take a candle. Help us pray.
Here comes another bunch of nuts.
Please help us pray.
Hartley, we're here for the meeting.
Oh, my God, I forgot this is the night.
Looks like we came at the right time.
Sure did. Come on in.
Thank you. What's going on inside? We're from the Sacred Heart League.
Welcome.
Please, take a candle. Thank you.
Make yourself at home.
I will.
Well, please come in. Aaron, Sean, Katie, Colleen.
Jack, are they here to perform an exorcism or what?
The Lord works in mysterious ways. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, He brought the members of the Sacred Heart League to pray for us.
Make sure the children get the
Maybe this will work. It's got to.
Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
I had never experienced the power of love and prayer that surrounded us that night, and that incredible strength lasted longer than anything else we had tried.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
It's too heavy for you?
No, I can carry more.
No, you're carrying enough. Come on, let's go look at your room. Come on, Colleen.
I'm coming, hold on.
We were forced to move from the house on Chase Street. The funny thing is, not by demons, but from the never-ending attention. We hoped that in a new place, away from the public eye, neighbors wouldn't have heard about us, and we could try to live a normal life.
I'll be there in a second.
Isn't this exciting? Nice.
Put those boxes over there for now, honey.
Okay, Dad.
Go help Grandpa.
So what do you think?
Oh, honey. It's beautiful. It's the nicest house we've ever lived in.
Yeah. Well, there's a few things that need some work, though, like that window over there.
Did you see the swing set? Oh, it's beautiful.
Janet? I'm in here, Mom!
I got you!
Mom!
Wait!
Janet?
Wait!
I'm in the kitchen!
Wait!
Mom? Janet?
Oh, hell no.
Well, guys, so what does this mean? Does it mean that the dark gets so dark that it pushes on the light so hard that it forces the light to burn brighter and stronger than it ever did? Yes, they suffered horribly. They said that they came through it a stronger family. They eventually got an answer, and no problems have been since. But they started in 75 and it ended for them in 89. The kids, again, now are adults with families of their own, and say that they've had no issues. I've heard some interviews that said that Jack actually saw some things as a young boy in his home and down the street. So is it a bloodline thing? Is it something that followed him and waited for the right time and the ground to be fertile to grow and sprout and try to grab roots? But I think this family bloomed. I think they saw who their friends were. I think that it solidified their faith in their case. And I think it does in a lot of cases, but then there's always the ones that slip through the crack. Donnie, what do you think?
When I think about this case and see their story, I can't help but feel like kind of encouraged, actually, because I know that that can never happen to you or me or any of us, because we actually have a network of people, you know.
Yeah. And
we have like knowledge. We have the knowledge of like what not to do.
Yeah.
Because there were some
people. Yeah. It's
like
that group. It's like taking, you have this, tiny little flame, and, you burn, it burns bright for you. But then everybody brings theirs in together. And that's what we do here on this show. That's what we do in this chat. People come in and they're down and they leave happy, and everybody wishing everybody a good night. And that's a great blessing. And that goes out all around. I've showed that video on the channel before about all you need is love. We've got all this global thing. Right now we need as much light as we can get. We need to keep putting that out there. But I want you guys to notice when that darkness starts pushing, a lot of us have learned through time and on our journeys and in our consciousness that we are at this moment in our journey, that it burns brighter. It almost fans the flames. And
I know.
It makes me think about that victim soul too. And thinking about that, did we choose this? Did we choose to be here to go through what we're going through now? Did the Smurls choose it? Was it a bloodline thing? Again, so many questions, Donnie, and very little answers, just theories, thoughts, and hopes.
I know what I'm doing. If I ever land in their situation, I know the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to call you up, Cisco, and I'll be like, can I get Bill Bean's phone number, please?
So many people call, and sometimes
Bill
I
Bean,
get
hey?
that it's not Bill,
Yeah.
it's somebody else, and then it goes through that person and goes through Bill. Well, who are we to say this timeline thing? Again, these people suffered for so long for multiple reasons, till they got to that time. But I look at that through those eyes, that vantage point, and I'm seeing a group of people came right on time, on time.
I have an interesting question for you, Cisco.
Mm-hmm.
if you were to land in their situation, like if you had that level of haunting happening with you, who is the first person you call? What is the first thing you do?
Oh gosh. I get out all my stuff and my howitzers. I bring it all. I
What is
don't
your what
ask
would be your
questions.
plan of attack? What would be your like?
Well, the
This is what
first
I'm
thing
gonna
I
do.
did do was I went in, when it did hit me, I mean, like I said, it was taking out pets. I mean, it was a slow boil. And at that point, that's it. I threw the windows open. I got the sage. I got the feathers. I've got everything that I hold dear, and that connects me to my culture, to my ancestors, to everybody that's standing behind me. Because when you stand for something like this, whether you see them or not, you are not standing alone. All of your ancestors, your spirit guides, your angels, the people that walk the path before you and still walk with you to this day, those people are with you too. And then you call in others that are specialized in whatever you're dealing with. And in my case, I call everybody. I say, hey, Mike, I need you now. And I call Archangel Michael, and I do my prayers. I add my mantra for positive and negative energy. I bring in all the Native American, a little bit of Buddhist even, all of that, because I think that all wisdom is not found in one place. But I have to make it clear that when you're fighting something specific, you need specific tools, and that you should not put those in your toolbox because somebody else gave it a label. If it's dark, fight it with the light. If it's extreme darkness, fight it with extreme light, and take that starts from you. That's my thoughts, and that's who I call.
Can I tell you what I would do? If I was in that situation? I would do 3 things.
Call an Uber. Too bad we got to go.
First things first. Gather as much intel as possible.
Yes.
Find out as much information you can about the house, the previous owners, if you can, any situations about the town, find a history of the town, look for any, were there any battles, were there Native American tribes, just gather as much intel as you can. That's step number 1.
Absolutely.
Step number 2, it doesn't matter what your faith is or what your religious beliefs are, use your faith as a weapon. That is your sword and your shield.
Yep,
that is step
absolutely.
2.
Armor
Step
God,
number
baby.
3, find help. Make a stink. Communicate. Send emails. Make phone calls. Talk to people who know certain things. Like if it's a demon, talk to your pastor. If you think it's some Native American shit, talk to someone who has connections in the Native American community, who knows about, the practices and the culture behind it. If you got, no matter what it is, just find help. Connect with psychics, connect with mediums. Those are your 3 things.
And never challenge or things like that. I mean, this family is a perfect example of what to do, what you're going through, how it breaks you down. Like I said, this is an anatomy of a haunting. Again, I want to put out there, if you're interested in this case, the Ed and Lorraine Warren YouTube channel, it says official. I think somebody in the chat said it was their nephew maybe, but there's a lot of footage you haven't seen before, because it's all of the stuff he got rights to and started downloading, all these interviews and stuff. So there's a lot of information there. I believe there's a lot of knowledge in there. You can't think what you want to think about them, or either way, it's not my judgment call, but there's so much knowledge in there. You can't go through all those decades and not come out with some knowledge and some, things to do. So if you're interested in this, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater in that case. As far as believing in this case, again, the book is The Haunted by Ed and Lorraine Warren. I've read it. There's another one out there, and I caution, it's canon. I believe it's he was a reporter A couple of the girls have come out later on and said that, that was a reporter they were in a lot of problems with. He was always like a skeptic and bashing. He made up a lot of things, said the demon was there from day one, which was a lie. That they said, no, that wasn't part of it. If it was extremely quiet for multiple years and then came in. I think that all the activity drew it. The breakdown, I have my theory on that. But anyway, caution on that, because she says a lot of the newspaper clippings and the stories that are brought up, a lot of them were by him. So caution on anything with his name on it, but there is a lot of information out there. The movie is a #1, and it is free on YouTube. And there's several copies, so if you get a bad one, just go ahead and hit another one, because good, play all the way through, commercial free. There's no reason not to watch it and really get the full story. I did have a little clip here. It's only a minute long, but I can't, without having one of the Smurls themselves speak for themselves. I did pull a little clip. It was from a great YouTube channel called the World Paranormal Research channel on YouTube. So you can go see the full 1 hour and 20 minute. Go ahead.
Oh, so that you can actually watch an actual interview with them and actually.
Yes, it's podcast on YouTube.
Oh, there is a podcast with them, with the actual people.
This is the girl. She is now an adult, and her name is Karen.
And where can we find this podcast?
This is on the YouTube channel, and it's called World Paranormal Research on YouTube, and it is Karen Smurl. Smurl. So, and it's Karen Carin with a C. So she's telling the whole thing, and the other one is multiple interviews with the Smurls and also with the Warrens, and a tour of the house and everything else on the other YouTube channel I mentioned earlier. Okay, so there's that. I pulled a snippet of this, and like I said, I wanted to give credit to the YouTube channel, and it's also posted in this, I believe. So let's see what she has to say. It's 1:37, and we'll finish up. Okay.
About my father being attacked, about my father being raped. People always questioned that, and they always laughed. And I always tell people, my dad was a Navy guy. Why would my father make up a story like that, knowing as a man that he's going to be ridiculed for this for his entire life?
Right.
And he was a very tough guy. He took care of his family. He was a tough guy. And a couple of years ago, my oldest sister, she's 9 years older than me, Dawn, she was more involved in all this while they tried to kind of keep it away from us when we were younger. And so if my mom was having issues at home, she would tell my sister, okay, this is what happened, that she was my mom's go-to besides my father. So I remember 2 years ago we were sitting talking, and she said, I'll never forget that morning. And I said, well, what? And she said, the night that Dad was attacked, she said, I guess he didn't wake my mom up to tell her. The next morning, she said that's the first time I saw Dad cry. And my mom was holding him, and she said he was a mess. And she's like, I never saw him like that before, and I never saw him like that afterwards.
So just a little piece so you could hear Karen Smurl talking about it again. That's World Paranormal Research on YouTube channel. It's like an hour and a half interview with her. And they also talk a little bit about the Warrens too. I believe she does as well in this interview. So there's all the information you can discern for yourself. I'm telling you, man, Donnie, I believe them. I believe them. There's zero doubt in my mind on this case.
I have no reason not to.
I do. I've seen this stuff happen. Multiple people in the chat have seen it happen at different vantage points, different times in life, in different ways. Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I wanted to leave you guys with tonight. The strength in numbers, the light coming together like that, gave them enough time to get their footing back under, and then finally we figured by the way it happened and ended that this was an entity that absolutely needed the full ritual of the exorcism of the church. Now, what that means, I don't know. It doesn't tell me who it was. I don't think I want to know who it was, but I'm glad it's leaving this family alone. The dad is now passed. He died quietly, fulfilled his life. I think he was very proud of the way he went at this as a skeptic to start. He said it made him a believer quick.
Yeah.
but it dad and a better husband. And listening to the girls now, like I said, with family of their own, I can't help but believe what he says. So there you go. Anatomy of a Haunting, Donnie. What are your final thoughts?
First and foremost, we got to do more of these.
I loved it so much. I loved it. Did you like it, Chad? How was it? Paranormal rape, yeah. AJK, yep, absolutely.
And if you want to actually see the actual rape scene, you can probably find it. It's there.
If
I saw
find
it,
that
it
somehow,
messed me up as a kid pretty bad.
Somehow I missed it, but for whatever reason, maybe I wasn't supposed to. Maybe it was too much
I wasn't
energy
supposed to
out
watch
on
that scene when I was 11 years old. That's for sure.
I mean, I don't question stuff like that. If I messed up that much where I spliced it and it spliced out by accident, you know, it was probably meant to be. But it is there. It is in
Maybe
the movie.
It was a bit
they showed
too
it on
disturbing.
TV.
Yeah. Just like if you want to see it,
it's pretty
go out
horrific.
and find it. It's kind of horrific, man.
She
I'm
gets
telling
pretty graphic in her explanation of you know, the whole thing too. I didn't put that on here because I don't know who's going to listen later, but she does. And again, more evidence of something was actually going on. And, you know, people go through this. Can you imagine having to go and ask people down at the office what, you know, anybody here have any experience of being raped by a ghost? You know, you hear stories all the time.
Could you imagine all your coworkers seeing that on TV about you and then coming up to you in the coffee room the next day and be like, hey, I heard you got raped by a ghost.
But again, that's why nobody said anything about being abducted by a UFO, because did you get this, you know. And that's again that whole thing is why it's kept it down. It's taken so long to learn all this. Again, I've been doing this 50 years. I'm sitting here still asking questions. So you guys are going to have to carry on and go out there and keep getting those questions and keep telling the young ones and showing them shows like this and sit down and explain to them and ask them what they saw when they saw that clip, what they think about it, see where their minds are, and you know, maybe give them a gentle nudge down that journey, you know, not go into the light but toward the light, you know, because I believe that the light is what keeps us out of the darkness, quite literally. Yeah. So how much fun. I loved y'all. Thank you for putting up with a couple little mistakes, but I think we did a pretty good show tonight. And thank you all for being here. Hit the like button on the way out. And I love you all for being in here and supporting each other. The bacon, the popcorn. We should do more of these popcorn nights here, Donnie.
Oh, man, we got to do this more often.
Yeah, I wish we could just pick anything, but you know, like Steve's always, you know, telling too, you know,
the video part
copyrights
seems kind of tricky. We got to figure that out.
It's hard, man. It's really hard because I can't just share my YouTube because of my sound system, so I have to go at it wrong. You've heard me complain. I don't complain. It's fun. I have fun doing this.
Thankfully, we have people like Dylan and Steve who can give us advice, though.
Yeah,
they seem to know a lot about like doing that kind of thing.
I actually have to have somebody almost like sitting here going, "Oh my God, what is this? Duct tape, stolen band equipment? What is that?"
I mean,
you know,
Dylan is especially good.
Is that
if you want to ask him like any tech advice or video editing advice, you ask him. Yeah. He will help you.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell is that? Is that
guy
connected
knows?
to
That guy knows his stuff. I was like asking him like, I went to Best Buy. And I was like, "Oh, Dylan, help me! I'm trying to find like a webcam and mic." Like he knows all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Dylan, help, give me some shopping advice.
Yeah, see, mine's like a brand new mixed with prehistoric things, and you know, things that are great because you can't buy a better thing than the you know, the older stuff I have, and making everything work and recognize each other. It gets a little hairy. I was doing OBS for a while, and I was doing D Live and some other stuff, you know, streaming to multiple streaming devices and stuff, and I just had to make it smaller. And I just want to talk to these guys and whoever comes along, you know, in the future. Thank you so much. We've got so many new subs. I think we got like 35 new subs. So thank you. If you want to help out this channel, you know, mods, if you guys got my PayPal, throw it down there. We've got the super chats at the bottom. It does go directly to, and I believe it was you, Be Kind. If it was you that sent me the PayPal, thank you so much. I don't want to say out your real name, but whoever you are out there, I appreciate that so much. It went directly to StreamYard. It's not required here. I keep doing this as long as I can for
Grey
free.
Wolf Paranormal, everyone needs a Dylan in their lives.
Yes, yes. Yes,
He's a
absolutely.
good dude.
And he's
He's
going to be
he's a
back.
great man. He's an impressive human
Yeah,
being.
he is. He really is. So many people here,
I mean, I
really are.
respect the
We are
shit out of that
blessed.
guy. Yeah.
We are blessed with the wonderful people we've got to meet. Like you said, Donnie, what do? You call, so many different people in this beautiful paranormal chain
And
of
especially
information and people.
since I got a little bit more involved in like the paranormal community, I'm starting to notice that there are a lot of people out there who like use the paranormal as an excuse to lose touch with reality. But then I see people like Dylan who's got like,
Yeah.
he's
It's
very much
actually
like
gotten our
got
grip.
his shit together.
Yep.
He's a family man, he's an army man, and
Yeah.
he's like a responsible person. He's very knowledgeable on tech and he's very open-minded. People like him in the paranormal community are very few and far between. I'm starting to realize.
Yeah, and there is. I mean, the thing is we're lucky about it because we have so many like-minded people here, and that also listen to the show, Paranormal. It's almost like at the end of this 50-year search, I found all these people that have gone to Gauntlet, that I've worked with, that I've talked to, that have helped me with cases, that I've helped with cases, and back and forth. You get to know people, and now this chat is the same way. All these people coming in and giving their ideas and their their experiences and what they learned and how they look at it. And it's a growing thing. The knowledge is ever churning, and that's, like I said earlier, that's all I want for this show. I mean, it'll be here, and you guys pass it on to the young ones that are coming up, that we have to almost reteach them. They've been torn by texting and all this other stuff, to get back hands on and go with your gut and that intuition and their abilities, because I believe everybody's got them to a certain degree, and it's just using them, like doing push-ups. Everybody's got muscles in your arms and legs, but until you drop and do 50 push-ups, you're not going to you'll feel muscles you didn't know you had there, kiddo. And I think hauntings are a lot like it too. We saw today that they really push on everything. They make you think. Everything just gets reshuffled, and then you start to
they're so
reappreciate.
unlike anything else the world can prepare you for. You have to consider
Yeah.
that as well. So people are just like, what the hell's going on?
I mean, I kid you not, man. So
Yeah.
happy popcorn night, everybody. Popcorn and bacon to everybody. Thank you to all the mods or the wonderful bakers out there. Those fantastic shut the fuck up cakes. I love you so much. Thank you for dropping the links to all our talented people, and links for tonight's show and more information on tonight's show. And my love goes out to the Smurls and the people that still survived that. I know the grandparents are gone now. I don't know if the mom's still alive or not, but
Wait,
my heart
so
goes
how
out
did they
to them.
eventually take care of it? Like, what was the final coup de grace on the
They
demons?
stayed friends with the group that came and sang. I forget what they were, the group of the Sacred Heart or something, that all came
Yeah.
together as a community, and that grew and grew and grew, and they kept it up until the church finally in 1989 went for the full tilt boogie exorcism, which they
They
should have
went
done in the
full
first.
on, all guns
full
a-blazing?
tilt boogie. Yeah, full tilt
Maximum
boogie.
Catholic
Wide
exorcism?
open. Yeah, the
Oh,
whole
and-
shebang. Glitter
And
and,
that's what did
everything.
it at the end?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Glitter,
I mean, I ain't
butterflies,
questioning
white
the
doves,
efficacy of a maximum strength Catholic exorcism. Yeah.
fireworks, the whole,
Yeah. It worked.
industrial
That's,
strength.
That's what did it in the end.
That's what did it,
They
and
went
everybody's
full on.
good.
They got like
And-
bishops involved and stuff, right?
And I think there was a combination too. Maybe they, again, maybe this is so much bigger than we could ever wrap our minds and thoughts around. But, when you bring in that whole, victim souls, did we choose? Did we want to come here to show others how to fight? I believe there's some validity to that. I don't know how you guys feel out there about it, but think about that tonight and think about.
I definitely think so. I definitely think like the people who experience paranormal things were chosen to do so.
Could very well be, just so we can go on and help each other with the next
I see it
thing,
as like
because,
spiritual boot camp.
Yep. And that one tonight was really the full deal, man. So
Yeah, I mean they went through the ringer.
yeah. So tomorrow night we are going to do with Steve Monday Madness. I hope you all will be here. Thank you, Donnie, so much for
This was a lot of
coming
fun.
up. What's coming up with you? Do you want to You want to lay any stuff out there? I know you're writing.
No, well,
and
I'm
so
still
much going
working my script that I'm doing for Dylan. Oh man, this is gonna be my masterpiece.
I can't wait.
Oh,
I can't
I'm
wait. So
fascinated
much
with this
talent in
topic.
here.
Like I want to like talk about this so bad.
Yeah, I know. And you're doing research for our stuff.
And then we're doing
for the
research
roundtable?
for next week's show. For
I think it's the
roundtable?
27th. I think it's the 27th.
Okay,
Next
so that's
week,
2 weeks.
We're doing
Okay.
positive energy. I have a positive energy worker. She's talking a little bit about like what we talked to tonight. Maybe we should ask her about that whole victim soul thing. She has a really great way. I actually know her. She's a neighbor of mine, and we talk all the time. And I'm just learning a little bit about her craft and you know and what she does. And I think it's really interesting. Good for the times. Positive energy. How to get your junk out of the funk, so to speak. That's a good way to end it. Keep your junk out of the funk,
let me just
babies.
add one last thing
Go
for
ahead.
the people in the chat. So the next show, Cisco and I have got planned the roundtable. Like the past couple of weeks, we've had the topic about Nazis, right?
Mhm.
First, we talked about the history,
The
and then we
Operation
had that
Paperclip.
show with Chaz.
Mhm.
This one is going to be like the climax. Like we're going full on, everyone doing their
And we're
own
telling the
research. and-
truth. Because so many documents have come out now, and I don't know, who's into research and who isn't, who wants to dig and who doesn't. But there's so many things that I think it's very important to know at what depths people have lied about certain history, and I think it's time that truth comes to light, because I think it's very prominent for our times, because
we're going.
we've
we
got to
going deep
stop
state with
thinking
this.
that people won't lie.
Yeah,
and
we're going deep with this.
yeah, so we're going to do that. We're going to push you to the front. If they shut me down, they shut me down. I went out in a good blast. That's one of the reasons I want to do this show.
I'm
because
like
I
actually
love this
nervous
movie.
about this episode because I'm like, oh man, are we gonna
They've
like?
shut a couple of my episodes down for like the craziest stuff, but that's
Yeah.
fine. We got it out there. That's why you got to be here for the live folks, because sometimes they'll tell me to cut something out, and I'll cut it out, because I want to keep this going. I'm not really, I'm not,
I feel like we're about to implicate some major entities that would
well-
not like to be implicated in things, and
Well,
they
we called
have
Lindbergh. We called Earl
they
Flynn.
have abilities to just kind of erase channels, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So there we are. Listen, guy, I tell you what, this has been so much fun. It's been so much fun spending time with you. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. Love you so much. Thank you for being here, and
Thank
see
you,
you
everyone.
tomorrow night. Keep your feet under those covers and keep your closet doors shut, because there are things that go bump. In what, Donnie? In the night.
In the night. Oh, you beat me to it.
And keep your funk out of the junk. Right?
Oh,
Keep your
yeah.
funk out of the junk. Good night, everybody.
Bye, folks.